I'd like to welcome you to the realm of Elamar. This collection of continents would be scattered and spread across the great waking ocean, the lands having a deep history of draconic control, seeding all the way back to their creation myth and their worship of the dragon pantheon. Though in the past 200 years, the dragonkin-operated Tarragon Concord has pulled back its military influence from the distant and vast Southlands, selecting to centralize the dragonkin power in their homelands to the north, leaving the Southlands as a cluster of separated factions connected at best by trade and connected at worst by conflict. With countless stories to tell in the wide world that is Elamar, our tale starts in the Southlands, deep in the region of Nosfid, its beautiful verdant lands being free of Tarragon control for well over 200 years, allowing the people and the wilds to reclaim the region once more. Our sight would pass by the lush landscape of Nosfid, seeing the Sarin cliffs along its western shores, the Golden Reach and its tall outstretched trees that spread from the eastern coasts to the grasslands that make up the heart of these lands. But our sight would fall to the far-spanning Presh River, watching the river's strong current crossing from the northern expanse of Farstra all the way south to Nosfid. Panning in closer to the river, we'd see the widespread wildlife wrap itself around the water's path. Thick foliage lining the riverside, large mosquitoes buzzing through the air, and the early morning heat already slowly creeping in on this day. As we watch life exist in this simple moment, our sight would drift, turning to view a fairly non-impressive river ship as it glides along the water's surface. Watching as this ship travels further south down the Presh River, getting to see the humble make of this gondola-like vessel as it progresses further and further along. As we watch this ship, we begin to see the four figures milling about the narrow river ship. Our view focusing in to see the two crew and the two passengers on board. Zooming in closer to this particular river ship as it moves down the waterway, Bryce, could you introduce the first passenger our sight would fall upon?
You would see a young woman of a tallish, muscular, lithe build with simple gray monk robes with a single slash of color across the waist, like a deep red, bending down into the water and scooping some of it up to sort of pour over her head and trickle down her neck. She has large curly hair split between two colors, the left side mostly brown, the right side mostly blonde, though each side is interrupted by like small locks of the other color. Her skin follows a similar pattern, being split between a medium brown and a pale beige. Her left and right eyes are also different colors, one green, one red. And the only thing tying the seemingly two completely different halves of her together are the spots of gold in her eyes and the gold scales framing her face and mostly covering her ears and her neck, extending down her back behind her clothing. You'd see that her right arm has those golden scales sort of rippling down this outer side of it. Her inner forearm is just that pale skin color, though there are occasional patches of the other color on each side. She looks a little miserable, a little sweaty, even though the day's only just starting. She swats at mosquitoes in the air.
Sort of panning over, we would see the second passenger on board this ship. And Chad, could you introduce us to the second passenger we would see on board the river ship?
Maybe as swatting off mosquitoes, would pan over to see like a sweaty young halfling who's by the name of Renford Applewick. Everybody calls him Renny. He stands about 3 feet tall. A lot of times he's confused for a child to anybody unassuming, but he also likes to kind of keep like his cloak up and stuff, so it's kind of hard to like peg that he is full-grown halfling. He has shaggy brown hair. It's usually unkept and messy. He doesn't care too much. It's usually like as it gets longer, starts to bother him, he'll just like cut off that piece. Typically using like his simple dagger. So it's pretty kind of like hacked up. But yeah, I think at this point he's probably let it grow a little bit longer. But now it's starting to like kind of like stick to his neck and stuff, and he's just getting a little frustrated with it. He usually wears kind of like a loose brown pants, like a faded green tunic. He secures it with like a belt around his waist. He has kind of wraps around the bottoms of his feet, kind of go up to the pant a little bit to keep it in place. He just kind of likes muted earth tone clothes to kind of blend in as much as possible. And he covers it all up with like a light faded gray cloak that could almost be mistaken as like a dirty white at points. His green tunic does have its own hood that he keeps tucked, because in his gray cloak, that hood is usually full of like hay and some other bits, where his little chunky mouse Lucky, who's almost like a gray and white, tends to reside. Otherwise, he just has like brown eyes, soft features. He doesn't stand out too much, and he kind of likes it that way. Usually, I say keeping his hood up, and he has kind of like a little kerchief thing that he'll use to cover his face when he's kind of trying to be sneaky. So with all that piled up, he's pretty indiscriminate. He keeps a low profile, out of sight, out of mind is kind of his style.
We would see you two in the midst of this early morning process. Again, there'd be a little bit of cloud coverage overhead. Sort of sparse, not too cloudy, so to speak, but enough to where it is obscuring some of that early morning light. But a voice would cut through this atmosphere of our river scene, as we would hear the captain and driver of this vessel call out. All right, you lot. We're about an hour outside of Summerbend. Be sure you got all your shite with you. Anything you leave behind, Herline gets to keep. That's the rules. As we would see this light brown-skinned elf woman, wide hips, a very authoritative posture as she would be driving the ship's wheel. Her hair almost looking like deep blue ocean curls that come back behind her ears, just above her shoulders, sort of showing off her pointed elven ears and these rich sky blue eyes. Just moments after that captain's call out, the last and only member of the crew here would sort of join in by yelling, "Yeah, what Miss Pearl said, you leave it, I take it." As we would see this dark green half-orc, thick shoulders, muscular arms, and she would sort of move about the narrow ship, giving this very big smile that would show off her sort of more pronounced lower tusks. You'd probably all hear the captain chime back in, looking about. Oh, right. Since we're so close, no breakfast, by the way. Rations, water skins. You know the drill.
Yes, Captain.
Renny would just look disappointed.
And as we get to see this sort of little moment between you all, how would Renny and Enna go about spending their last hour on board the river ship here that you guys have been traveling on for, a little over a month at this point?
Are there any high points on the ship?
Not necessarily. The middle does have a little bit of like a coverall section where it's almost like a step down to almost like a lounge interior that has like a slight topping over it. That'd probably be the highest point on the river ship. Enna's
just excited to see the new city and also kind of get off the water. I imagine that she would be trying to look ahead, but it doesn't sound like it would really offer much of a vantage point. So maybe she's just kind of sitting in the bow, trailing her feet in the water.
Fair. It's fair. Probably one of those few little fun creature comforts you have when on board the river ship, as pretty small on here. This thing is long, but not very wide. Not a whole lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
What about Renny? What would Renny be doing with his last hour on board the river ship?
Probably as he just snacks on some of his dry rations, he would be doing one last check. Normally he does keep all of his stuff in his bag. He doesn't usually spread out, but I think maybe he got a little comfortable and he's like, oh no, I don't want to have my stuff. And so for him, that would just be devastating. So he's probably just going I don't know, is it stern to bow or whatever, but he would just be like going from like spot to spot and just looking around and making sure that he has all his bits. And then at some point, if like he would probably look around when everyone was kind of busy, and he'd carve a nice little RA into the boat.
Ooh, I love it. Give me a stealth check. First roll of the game.
I was just thinking that.
I do a sleight of hand.
I'll let you do a sleight of hand. A sleight of hand's fair. That's
Like
fair.
a real quick carving.
Yeah.
Either way, whatever thematically works.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
17.
A 17. It'd be quick. You maybe have been planning this out. You maybe pick this spot out. And you get in there real quick. And as soon as you get it done, you maybe admire your work in this moment. Before a loud, familiar, booming voice would call out, Herlin shouting, "Hey, Renny, don't think I've forgotten about the deal. You told me every damn story you had besides the only one I've been asking about for almost a month, and you've been holding it over my head for weeks, and I'll be dead before I let the pair of yous leave without hearing it."
His face probably went from like, oh shit, to like relieved that he wasn't caught. Well, yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, the only reason I was holding over your head is because I had to make sure you got me this summer, Ben.
You keep saying that. We like you guys. You guys are actually pretty relaxed and laid back.
We could almost say the same of you.
Yeah, you guys need run a nice ship. I'll tell you what, everybody can gather around, maybe by the captain where the wheel is, so everybody can hear the story. Let me warm up, and I'll be there in just a moment. And then he'll show Lucky his handiwork, and they'll be like, "Don't worry, buddy." And then he'll put a quick, tiny little L under his RA.
Just a quick little flick of the wrist for the L.
For Lucky. I wouldn't forget about you, buddy. He puts him back on his shoulder, and then he would make his way. I assumed he would do it by like where the captain's wheel is, so they could hear it without having to like worry.
That makes sense. That makes sense because you'd probably hear the captain start chiming in. Because again, you could hear a lot of this, conversating from most angles on this boat, but especially with Herlin and how loud she is. Captain probably calling out, "Yeah. Herlin and I, we have a few bets riding on how you two actually met. So yeah, we're both pretty eager to hear whenever you two are ready."
Wait, I'd like to hear what these bets are. Just real quickly.
You would see Pearl and Herlin probably like share a look between the two of them. Herlin looking back. "Well, I think that you, Enna, I think that you're actually a princess. And I think you're on the run. And I think maybe Renny here may be your knight or a squire."
Oh, you're close, except I'm the knight.
Renny's the
Renny's the
princess
princess.
on the run.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see Pearl like rolling her eyes. "The actual story, please. We literally have like 45 minutes till we show up."
Oh, that story sounded pretty good to me. He maybe mumbled like, "I'd be a prince." Okay. Well, we'll get it done. I don't want to, keep you. Nothing's worse than trying to tell a story as we're getting interrupted, pulling into port. Okay, gather around. Everybody's ready. Get your snacks, get your drinks, get your bits.
Oh, I'm ready to correct as needed.
Hold all questions and corrections till the end. Okay, everybody gather around. Actually, Enya's heard this. She doesn't necessarily have to be here.
Oh, I'm right here, buddy. Don't worry. I'm right with you.
Okay, so if everybody's ready, it was a cold, dark night. But let's go back just a little bit to the nice warm day where it all started when I was touring the House of the Illuminated Oppressive Flames.
That's not part of the title.
It was deep in the mountains, a dangerous trek, full of dangers, mysteries, and monsters, but I braved them all to tour this temple. And it was a fine temple. It didn't quite live up to some of the hype, except for the oppressive part. Using my keen eye, I was able to scope out the place, map it mentally. And that's when I found its weakness, a small open window. So that's when I decided to take my leave. I waited out in those dark, mysterious, dangerous rocks nearby. Cold set in. moon disappearing. It's dangerous, but it was perfect. I made my approach, scaled the wall, quickly, quietly, with great proficiency. Just as I thought, the window's still open, one of the few weaknesses I've been in this temple of the oppressive flame. As I used my incredible feats of acrobatics and a little bit of strength, I managed to hop into the window sill. Scoping out the place, I went ahead and leaped on in, landing light like a cat. Not a sound, except for Lucky's squeak, because he was so impressed. Made sure the coast was clear, looking both ways, and of course, being the master liberator that I am, no one was around. Now, there was a lock door. It would have been easy to pick, but I thought, too easy, too obvious. There's got to be treasure somewhere else. So I diverted to the library. And I was right. After walking past all those boring, useless scrolls and books, there it was. A beautiful loot. I mean, gorgeous, perfect, even. Had to have been made by a master craftsman. Made of platinum. And I'm sure it would have sounded beautiful. And I thought to myself, this truly is the house of the oppressive flame, because here's a fine instrument that should be out in the world being played by artisans, but instead it's sitting unused, untouched, locked away from the world. And I thought to myself, that needs to be heard by the world, by the masses even. So I, being the fair liberator that I am, was going to liberate it. And there I was, reaching out, grabbed the neck of it. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous, it was everything I needed. And then probably out of sheer jealousy and dedication to their oppressive ways, Enya grabbed my wrist and prevented this poor, beautiful instrument from being free and played in front of people. Stuck forevermore in the house of the oppressive flame.
Yes, our impressive liberator could only be outdone by me. I heard that squeak in the darkness, I suppose. Must have been the only thing I heard, as he was in the archive of the library, but I guess I can see why you didn't know the difference. Of the not oppressive House of Illuminated Flames. I was doing my rounds. I had to stop him, obviously. He was about to steal a priceless artifact.
He wasn't stealing. He just told you, I was liberated. It deserved to be played. I mean, you get it. Imagine a perfectly beautiful boat just locked up in a library that they call an archive.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to be in the water. But yes, I was caught by the janitor of the House of the Oppressive.
Not a janitor. Novice.
They told you to clean up that big old courtyard that was a mess. I think you were the only one. And then he laughed about it.
That's just part of regular duties, okay? He was only there for like a minute, so he doesn't even know anything about any of that. Okay, I was a novice at the House of the Illuminated Flames, and I stopped him from making a huge mistake, trying to steal a priceless artifact that's being held for its own very good reasons that neither of us know.
The only mistake is keeping that poor, beautiful instrument locked up. It was an artisan tool that deserves artisan hands.
The richest artisan hands, apparently.
Well, you know, I think I should be rewarded for such the dangerous trek that I had to take.
Mm-hmm. The path is really steep.
There was monsters. There was a lot of stairs. There's a bunch of other people, and they're kind of pushy. It was not pleasant. And like the weird open house to it, it was dangerous. Okay, and I managed to brave it all. Yeah, and then that was kind of how it all started. And then I was like, you know what? This place is too oppressive for me, and I help Enya see the light. Pantheon of the Dragons really isn't that great.
I did have a revelation of sorts, and I did decide to leave with Renny, so it's not entirely exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
You would see Pearl and Herlin probably eating up most of the story. Herlin was buying all the small details you were giving Renny, but Pearl was just waiting for the actual story beats. But finally, Pearl would sort of like look at you both pretty curiously. Huh. Interesting. You said you were a novice at the house.
Yes, I was there for 6 years.
Wow.
Didn't make as much progress as I would have liked. It was a long time. I'm a very dedicated person. But Renny convinced me that I need more worldly experience. So this was kind of how we started together.
4 years, 6 years in a single spot. I mean, just imagine how impressive that is. It's a whole world out there. And of course, from my previous stories, you do know that I did a bit of dredging back in my day. So I was just like, there's so much you gotta see. So we've been following my dredging halfling intuition. Find the score of all scores. It's in a cave somewhere. All these dang caves kind of seem so similar. You try to describe it to somebody, big opening, rocks, dark, near a mountain, some trees around, and it apparently just describes like 90% of them. So,
yeah, and this is some insight that you dredgers have following cave sightings.
I mean, he calls it that.
There's nothing else to call it. And it was intuition. Sometimes you just got to believe in yourself,
I believe we have a magical connection. Religious even, so he would never admit it.
Herlin sort of like peeking up. Ooh, like Overdin. Do you like religious like Overdin?
Renny's gonna look at and like, what?
Yeah, do we know what Overdin is? Is that one of the...
Yeah, you guys would know Overdin as one of the early gods. Specifically, I should have had my little notes pulled up here. But Overdin, she is the goddess of nature, growth, peace, and wildlife. Being, again, one of the early gods, not one of the draconic gods.
I would say more like Boxtus, if I had to pick someone.
I would say like halfling intuition.
Like Herlin looks like impressed. Pearl probably looking over at her half-orc crewmate, looking back at you both. So to get this straight, believe you have a religious connection, but Renny here believes it's a dredger's insight. I wonder which one's right.
I feel like at the same time we both go, me.
Both know. Intuition, religion at the same time. We're still working that part out, but I think I know what's up. Plus, so far, Lucky's been the tiebreaker, so really we've been leaning on the intuition part. And then Thieves Can't See's gonna sweet talk Lucky real quick. Isn't that right? We know what's best. Yes, we do. To anybody else, it just sounds like fucking gibberish. Like a little halfling, a little common, and some random draconic words that he's familiar
Yeah, I finally know all the languages you use, and it still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You would see Pearl probably giving like a big smile as she's still standing at the wheel of the river ship. Well, I mean, if this dredger's intuition led you out of the Northlands and into the South, I think it's probably for the best. Southlands are, I don't know how to put it, less uptight. Tarragon Concord, they're so stuffy, so authoritative.
Maybe even say like oppressive.
I mean, I will admit I don't really know anything else. Growing up under the claw of Tarragon Concord, so tightly gripped my hometown.
I mean, to be fair, I think we told you earlier, the farthest I've ever been is Hilt, so I'm kind of a little excited to see how these people in the Southern realm live, although it is hot and muggy. I don't know how you do it, and he's probably put it out.
Yeah, it's not going to get any hotter,
doing
right?
That, he's trying to fan himself with his own shirt.
Oh, don't worry. I think the hottest weeks are probably right around the corner.
Ugh.
What? Around the corner? I was hoping you'd say past.
No, but don't worry. Once you're through that, it's all smooth sailing, especially once the cool breeze starts coming through. But, now you both mentioned it, a while back. You're going further south. Do you guys have a way to get further south, or you just gonna hoof it?
I mean, we might see what Summerbend has to offer, but again, that dredger's intuition should guide us, I think.
I was thinking that we would try to find another ship in port. Continue down the river, maybe to Kos.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea. I'm sure you'll find a couple of vessels. I mean, the only other recommendation I think I could have besides another a little more sturdier vessel for the difficult waters deeper south. The Wind Corral, I think there's one or two of them in Summerbend, if I'm not mistaken, but they offer good transport. Hippogriff back pretty fast, probably faster than you would maybe expect, honestly.
Oh,
Never heard of that form of travel before. I don't know. I usually do boats or feet. And he'd wiggle his toes.
Oh, same here. I like to consider myself water and land bound, but if you got coin and you got the stomach for it, I mean, it's an option, I guess.
well, what sort of prices should we expect? We don't want to get swindled in Summer's Bend.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I usually stick to the ground floors, honestly. I don't much tread the actual trees.
So we'll probably find them near the top of the trees.
I would imagine so. I believe they're in the upper branches. I believe we'll be landing at the eastmost sister, so we'll make dock. They're pretty tall, like high up there. I'd offer to show you, but I'm just not real good with heights, and we got to unload cargo.
No, yeah, you've done enough. You probably have to, unload, reload, resupply, head back up. I'm sure you're very busy, but if we could probably, maybe a good place to stay? So just like one main spot?
I mean, you got a couple different options. I mean, there's a couple good options on the ground. In the interior, along the trunk, I mean, there's probably a few. That's where a lot of, actual people live and a lot of commerce happens. I've heard the upper branches are lovely. Again, haven't quite laid on it myself, and looks over at Herlin, and Herlin would give a nod. The upper branches are pretty great, honestly. Pearl misses out. She's scaredy cat, but it's real nice. It's calm and cool. You have the leaves for coverage. It is very nice up there.
Does sound nice.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting place. Well, I appreciate some of the insight. It sounds like maybe we just need to explore the town a little.
I think we've earned a few days convalescence.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys have been on the river for us for God's knows how long, so I recommend soaking it up. Summerbend is beautiful this time of year.
I'm looking forward to getting my feet back in the dirt. I mean, look, he holds his foot up and the bottom of it's clean. He's like, they're not even dirty.
And as Renny and Enna's sort of chats and stories would begin to drown out on board the vessel, some of the final chats and story times they'd get to have on board the river ship, our sight would slowly fall back. Watching the river ship as it continues on its course, we would get a bird's eye view of the river cutting through the almost ever-present forest of Nosfid. Panning further back, we watch the ship move on and on down the waterway. And as we zoom even further out, we get a glimpse of their destination. What looks to be a lake nestled in the forest, featuring 3 impossibly big trees. Our sight would move to this hidden lake tucked away in the western rim of the Gold Reach forest, seeing that the lake would feature 5 loose islands that would fill about the center of this body of water. And on the 3 largest of these islands, there would be these giant trees, towering and dwarfing over any other tree in the Golden Reach area surrounding them. As we pan in, getting a closer view of these 3 gargantuan trees, we begin to see that a civilization has been built around and inside these trees. We look, and at their base, along each chunk of land would be harbors and docks, mixed in with many different homes and shops in the area. Moving up the tree, you can see a spiral walkway and staircase that seems to go on and on up with countless offshooting corridors carved into the surface of these skyscraping trees. Towards the top, up in the branches of the tree, you can make out even more structures, platforms, and pathways. Our view would withdraw back out once more. As we can see, each of these 3 trees would bear many of these same features, having prominent bridges that reach out from each tree, connecting them via these humanoid-made creations. This picturesque city, being named Summerbend. One community built about the trio of these towering trees in the midst of the hidden lake. Zooming in closer to Summerbend once more, we get to watch as hundreds upon thousands of people go about their day in this beautiful city. A fisherman sailing off across the lake to the branching rivers to collect their bounty for the day. Leaf blades in their wooden armaments on guard and patrolling, as well as citizens milling about the many, many places that Summerbend has to offer. As we get to see the Tabaxi, Leonin, and Owlin population mingle with the countless other souls that pass through the city's harbor. Our sight would linger around the eastmost sister and her eastern docks, seeing many different souls coming and going from the water's edge. But our vision would stay with a familiar pair of faces, seeing our halfling and dragongling friend leaving the docks and their former river ship behind, watching as these two step onto the chunk of land that the eastmost sister is resting on, looking around at the littering of buildings all about the earth and the spiraling walkway that leads to the base and up the tree itself. With the early day sun hanging overhead, the partial cloud coverage dissipating the longer the day grows. Watching Renny and Enna entering the city of Summerbend after weeks of travel on the river and only previously stopping at small, quaint villages on your journey. Where would their first stop be as they begin to walk through the crowded and bustling city?
Probably after taking the side in, it's maybe we should get some food.
Oh,
I mean, it wasn't the worst, but having to finish off the day with those dry rations, and then I don't know. There's only so many ways you can cook and eat fish before it's just now I'm thinking about it, there's probably fish here too, but let's be honest, there's only so much you could do on that boat.
right. I mean, we were missing essential seasonings.
Maybe something fresh, like a vegetable or a
Oh,
fruit
fruit.
that isn't cooked in fish broth.
Yes, I'm sure we can find something. Let's just follow our nose.
It's a good call. Renny? And he'll hold Renny up. Lucky. Well, lucky. He has keen smell.
I love it. I love it. So what we'll do, I want one of you to roll a flat D20, and we'll go high or low. 1 through 10 low, 11 through 20 high, and you guys call it high or low. This will sort of dictate the magnitude of the food you guys sort of stumble across.
I think I should.
Food really in it? And you should.
Yeah, if it's food. Always high, baby. D20.
You got this.
Ah!
You've cursed us again.
That is a 5 on our flat D20.
No.
So as Renny and Enna progress further and further into the city, they'd walk around the sort of dirt roads and pathways along the ground, passing by several shops, stores, and homes. Enna would probably be the one sort of looking and searching the structures and buildings for some sort of foodery that just speaks to her. This process taking just a little bit longer than maybe you two expected. Maybe likely seeing a few different spots along the way, but it wouldn't be until Enna would come upon what looks like a very unique structure, seeing what looks like a decent-sized wooden shack that would be well cared for and have carvings all along its wooden exterior. The shack featuring these small window seal flower beds abloom with yellow flowers. As you sort of approach, this humble structure would have a fine wooden door in the center of its sort of outward-facing wall to the street here. Seeing that flanking it would be a large singular window. This window being enough to sort of display the welcoming interior, seeing maybe 10 or 12 round tables with stools to sit on, even seeing a handful of patrons enjoying their meals. Now, as you're sort of taking this in, you would see that there would be a very small sign flanking the opposite side of the door. You would see in a very wispy green font, it would read, Ova's Den.
Ooh, this place looks nice, Renny.
Mm-hmm. Looks unique. Let's try it.
Seems extremely local. Seems promising to me.
Sort of stepping in, you'd immediately be hit with that wave of sort of delicious cooked food smell as you can pick out what seems like cooked vegetables, smoked fish, and maybe even freshly brewed tea sort of permeating the air as you step in these first moments. As you sort of take in the small, quaint space, one of the 3 or 4 waiters sort of moving about the interior would sort of pass by some of the tables close to you, giving you a glance. Seeing this young half-elf man giving you a little welcoming smile. Oh, greetings. Welcome to Ova's Den. Please grab any seat you like. We'll be with you shortly.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's take that one in the corner.
Okay.
As you guys sort of sit down, you can see there's maybe only 4 or 5 other tables featuring mainly other couples. As you look around, you can see there's sort of like it's all couples, yeah.
He's gonna try and clock what's other tables. Should look good here.
Yeah, I'm also looking at what's on the table.
Give me a perception check.
13.
14.
Out of-
Haha. See.
Nice. 13 and 14. You would see that there would be a few different dishes, some rice, peas, what looks like maybe stir-fried noodles, what looks like maybe like a stuffed vegetable of some kind, as well as everyone featuring what looks like a very particular type of tea in front of them, as that's sort of like the permeating smell that like comes through here that you're really picking up on as you're looking at all these couples. And you would begin to notice that all the couples here would be like touching hands, maybe making eye contact very heavily, locked in a heated conversation. Everyone here feels very intimate with their table partners.
Yeah, everybody's so friendly here.
Just a split second later, you would see that half-elf man sort of return, his sort of very like mop of brown hair sort of slicked back, his goatee a very nice trim, sleeves rolled up, a little bit of an apron sort of like halved around the waist. You would see be holding these menus and place them down in front of each of you. Excellent. I take it you're here for our ovulation tea?
Sure, it sounds great. I don't know what that is. What kind of plant is ovulation?
No, Renny.
I
do
want
you
to
have
try the
other
leaf water.
Okay, Renny will have the ovulation tea.
Wait, is that for everybody?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. It's just the posting. It's and he would actually take the menus back that he put in front of you. And 1 second, I'll get the regular dailies, and you would see him sort of walk off.
Did I get a glimpse of the menu before he snatched it away?
I would say with your 14 perception still persisting, as you sort of placed it down, you maybe gave it that half glance. It would mainly look like what looks like a tea blend recipe, as well as some dishes that they would recommend to pair with it. Getting the vibe with the 14 that, this is definitely some sort of like, helping conceive a child sort of like dietary whatever this was. As a brief moment as the menu was pulled away and the half-elf waiter sort of embarrassingly sort of like tail between the legs heads back to the sort of back room to, I guess, get the regular daily menu for you.
Renny, ovulation isn't a plant. Do you not know that word?
Say it in halfling.
She'll say it in halfling.
Oh my god, you were going to let me drink that.
Well, you asked for it. I don't think it would even affect you.
Thought it was a fun drink. Kind of places.
It could have been fun. I can't say I'm not curious now.
I guess we could ask for the menu back.
Maybe.
You'd see that meek half-elf waiter sort of return with different menus, placing them in front of you. I'm so sorry, but here are our daily offerings. Can I get you some water?
Yes, we'll start with some water, I think, but we're also we'll go ahead and look at the other menu as well. So sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll peruse. We'll find something.
Yeah, we'll look at both.
Oh, okay, yeah. And he would sort of turn meekly yet again, head back to that back room, come back again, place the second menus down. So now you both have two. Their menus sort of like, it's essentially like a parchment sort of like nailed onto like a couple of like finely churned pieces of wood, basically. So there's these very like heavy menus that he sort of clanks down on top. Probably heading back to the back for just a moment, coming back out with some tankards of, room temperature water. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute. Got one other table. I'm so sorry. And he like heads off to one of the other tables, still just reeking of embarrassment.
I think he's more embarrassed than we are.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. Making assumptions. Kind of.
Let me look at the description.
Yeah, let's see if they have any tea that doesn't ovulate.
Okay. We need to work on your common.
You guys look through some menus, get some orders placed. It's pretty cut and dry as far as this ovulation dietary day, like morning, that is essentially like toted on the secondary menu. It essentially consists of drinking an entire kettle of what is called yelling trout tea. After doing that, they recommend eating stuffed peppers, preferably also having sweet peas on the side. Though they do have a couple different options, like they would recommend a garlic green pea also being good, as well as just a natural vegetation salad. That would kind of be it. They would have several different wines available on the secondary list you would look at. The second list would have Overdin Bliss, Prosper, Branch Top Brewers, Harmonious Vineyards. No ales, unfortunately. And Renny, maybe as you're looking through the sort of like secondary menu, the one thing that would maybe catch your eye would seem to be a spicy soup featuring sort of a list of veggies and spices in it.
Well, I know what I'm getting.
For Enna, you're sort of reading through, and I mean, they have some stir-fried noodles with a wide variety of veggies, meats, and additives like sauces and seasonings. The stuffed peppers would also be listed on their regular menu, as well as the wines, a few other like secondary meals. Again, they would have a couple different salad options that wouldn't be listed on the sort of strange ovulation menu. Seems like hopefully they're trying to help people here, or maybe it's a gimmick. Kind of hard to tell.
Huh. All right. I can't say I'm not curious about this tea, so we'll get a kettle to split.
Yes. Wait, it
And then...
is this fish water tea?
Oh, no, it's probably the name of a plant. Like maybe that flower outside?
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Just leaf water. Interesting.
Then maybe we could split a wine.
Yeah, we should get two. Two different ones and some garlic peas.
Yeah, so we end up just like splitting a bunch of stuff, and then we probably each get an entree. I think Enna would be interested in a salad from the non-ovulation menu, because they probably haven't had fresh greens like in a while.
And as you guys would order your wine, your sides, and your entrees, it would be very good. It would be delicious. The salad being very crunchy. The sort of like oil-based sort of like sauce they put on top of it, just as like almost like a glaze, like a seasoning, like a salad dressing. It has a little bit of tang, a little bit of spice and zest to it, but just like a fine layer of sweet throughout. It's pretty pleasant. Probably sporting a few veggies in there that you maybe have never had or seen before, but you probably pick them out, eat them one by one, and maybe noting some of their tastes and textures, and wonder what that one is. What's this one? Oh man, this one's firm. Oh, this one's really firm. Oh god, so bitter.
That's exactly what Enna would be doing, tasting each part and then enjoying the bite together and clearing all the plates. She does not waste her food.
And throughout your guys' time here, again, maybe 30, 40-ish minutes collectively, a few patrons would come, a few patrons would go. Most of them still being couples, almost all of them. Again, some of them would seem to be male, female. Some are just male, male, female, female. There's just like a very wide array of pairings coming in and out in here, and you're like, yeah, this is okay. Maybe this is more than just ovulation. Maybe there's some sort of aphrodisiac about this. Oh God. Okay. All right. Maybe let's pay for the check.
I hope this tea doesn't treat us strangely.
The yelling trout tea is delicious. It is a little citrusy, a little tart, but it's very good. For us, it is essentially super caffeinated tea.
I feel great. Do you feel great?
I feel so good. Should we get one for the road? It'll balance the wine.
We'll say our total here. We'll say we'll be about 1 silver and 1 copper for both of you.
1 silver, 1 copper.
Maybe I'll leave like a 2 copper tip.
Yeah, I was gonna leave the tip too. If you put 2, I'll put 2.
Leaving a couple extra copper. The half-elf waiter would be just elated, being sure to thank you all for your stay. Please, may Ovidin smile upon you and your conception on your day. May it smile upon your day.
You too.
Okay. Thank you.
Ovidin smile. Weird. It's so hard for her not to say her normal illuminated flame blessings.
Yeah, they're all about their Ovid here, am I right? Is that much?
Maybe it's like an Ovidin thing.
I like an Ovid thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you could just say have a nice day. Not everybody has to bless everything.
You would say that. What if they said Dredger's instincts to you? Would that make you feel better?
Well, it would just make more sense. Something that's just like tangible and real and has rules.
Instincts are tangible.
No, but dredging is. Also, instincts. It's not even the same thing, okay?
Okay. Well, I gotta say, after being in there, she sort of looks down at her clothes, which are very clean, but definitely torn in multiple places, worn in others.
Ratty Northerners.
You have not been using the cleansing stone the way I've been using the cleansing stone, and even though you're claiming your feet are the cleanest they've ever been, you're really not as clean as you could be.
You kept that stone?
Of course I did. I've been using it every day, at least.
This whole time I've just been like, you were impervious to this swampy place. You can see like multiple different sweat rings on his clothes. Where like some days it was worse. It's like down to mid chest, and then other days it's a little bit.
Yeah, the shop was really covering your smell, but I think you're due for a bath, my man.
I'm not gonna say anything. I think it's lucky. It's not me.
Mm-hmm. It's not all the straw in your hood that you haven't replaced in like 3 months.
Well, where else am I going to get straw? Lucky doesn't complain, and he's going to pull out like a little bit of food that he swiped off the table and just throw it in his hood. Some people don't like when mice are around in restaurants, so.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs to eat too.
Of course he does. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying maybe it's time for us to get some new clothes, clean up. Maybe we can find some mulch or something for your hood.
I was thinking maybe putting like some padded cotton in there or something. A little leather. Something you could wipe out but still comfy for him.
Mm-hmm.
The hay was nice when it was cold.
Maybe we can either clean up your clothes now and then just shred them. Stuff that in your hood.
You're not going to keep your clothes?
Oh, I'm going to keep my clothes. It's just yours are a little... She looks at like all the sweat stains and the patches of dirt and like the tear.
Actual. There's like mismatched patches that he like crudely stitched back on. Wow,
I think they've seen better days.
I mean, most of the stuff is from Ulthur. A few years ago. No finer clothing. Okay, you know what? It's fine. And he's like kind of looking around at everybody and he's like, it would be nice to have something a little lighter.
Yes.
Layers don't seem to be as useful this far south. At least it's not so muggy here. I don't know if it's the lake or what.
Yeah, the breeze helps, that's for sure.
Okay, well, what if we found a tavern first to get like a home base?
Yeah, somewhere to set up.
Yeah, maybe kind of, ease off some of his goods and explore the town.
Sounds good to me. Do you want to try to find somewhere in the upper branches? I mean, that place sounded really cool.
He looks up and it's super fucking tall to him.
I mean, it's already huge, and to you, Renny, it is just extra huge.
We can. I don't usually a below ground kind of guy. I've never really been up that tall before. Listen, I normally attack trees and climb them, but let's do it. I think it'd be fun.
That's the spirit. If you're tired, I can carry you. She sort of says that kind of snidely as she walks ahead of you.
He leers a little bit. Nobody carries me one time. You're in danger.
As we see Renny and Enna moving through these sort of ground level dirt streets of Summerbend here on the eastmost sisters sort of landmass, while walking through these sort of streets, you've likely come to notice that there aren't too many signs out and about in Summerbend. Even a fair number of storefronts don't seem to use traditional signage or even branding for that matter. But as Renny and Enna would approach the base of the great towering tree, they would see a large sign labeling what would seem to be a select few places located at the upper branches. You would see the Branch Top Brewery, you would see Stacks a Plenty, Marrow Maker and Designs, The Glow Hearth, Harvest and Bounty, Mother Baba's, and the Wind Corral, with just one arrow pointing up, basically.
Huh. The brewery, do you think the brewery's like a tavern, with some rooms?
It's kind of a gamble.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just poke around and see what we stumble across first. Yeah, just in case. I mean, some of these might be something else. Who knows what Baba's is? That could be a place.
Well, while we're walking around and sweating anyway, we might as well do that in not our new clothes. We'll check it out. If we don't find anything, we'll just head back down like they recommended.
It's fair. Hopefully back down's a lot easier. Okay. Let's climb.
And as we would watch the two of you begin to follow the path that leads towards the giant tree, you can see this sort of the giant spiral stairs that cut through the bark of the tree itself. Seeing the countless sort of level entrances, hallways, and platforms that run off from this continuous spiral staircase that reaches all the way up to the upper branches. It's fairly impressive as you guys get to the base and begin to move up, especially seeing the numerous people traversing both up and down the wide steps. Beginning to ascend, you probably would have to squeeze past the occasional large party descending, the traffic going, again, both ways up and down, remaining fairly steady throughout the first about 2/3 of your trek up this spiral staircase. The final third being, marginally faster with the lack of extra people sort of on the stairs. During your hike, the view would only be more and more beautiful the higher you go up. At points, you're able to look out and see the dense, widespread Gold Reach woods with the Presh River cutting through. At other points, your view would be of the two other great trees that comprise most of Summerbend. But after 25 minutes, you would finally crest the final steps, reaching the upper branches at the very top of the great tree. Now that you're here, you can fully take in the many wooden walkways and pathways, some of the paths being carved into the actual branches, while others would be built atop them. All of these pathways connecting to plazas, separate platforms featuring courtyards, buildings, and structures, a spectacle of skilled crafting along with nature, much like most of Summerbend that you've seen. As you begin to look around the space, there are several structures here. Both of you guys give me some perception checks again. Let's do another round. Just see what place sort of catches your eye first.
21.
21.
Yeah, a 9. People keep walking in front of me. I can't see the signs.
We'll say starting with Enna. We'll say as you're sort of looking across again this beautiful space, you can see people milling about, going to and from, with a good amount of people heading over to what looks like this large, maybe 2.5, maybe 3-story building. It almost has this, log cabin-esque design, much like mini structures in Summerbin do. This one having those large, sort of raw, exposed tree trunk support beams, these sort of wide windows along its outer exterior that have a little bit of fog on them, so you can't quite see the details inside. But there would be a large sign hanging overhead, reading "The Glow Hearth, Home and Friends Welcomed." And Renny, as you're looking about the space, you maybe get sort of distracted by a sight. You would look over what looks to be this wide hovel, fairly built home, you would guess, seeing it would be vaguely dome-topped and covered with a smattering of flowers, foliage, and plants, almost looking like it is one mass of vegetation growing a door, growing a window, growing a small chimney top. You would see that it would be this large shack. And roughly outside the home's single, very rounded, almost circular door would be what looks to be a queue of about 10 people patiently waiting. And you would see there'd be a few other buildings. Both you can probably make out Stacks of Plenty. You can probably make out what looks like a large brewery, possibly. A few homes, a couple other structures that aren't quite labeled, but it's almost like, a small city just within the city up here.
Well, I think I found an inn over there.
Oh, okay, well, we should check that out. But hold on one second. I just want to see what this is. And he'll kind of...
Oh, it looks like a giant shrub.
Yeah, we have to go in. Let me just ask somebody in queue. And he'll kind of go into the middle and just kind of be like, "Excuse me?" And whoever looks first.
You would see this a little bit shorter, a little more rotund looking tabaxi, sort of a dark black and gray coloration to their fur, would sort of look over you, their piercing yellow eyes sort of glancing.
What is this line for?
Oh, you're probably not from here. Mother Baba's.
I saw a sign. What is this place exactly? I'm sorry, I don't mean to bother you or keep you. I was just curious.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. And you would see this dude's like 6th in line of a line of like 10 people. It's fine. Yeah, I'm not really going anywhere. I get it. Oh, by the way, welcome to Summerbend. If you've never heard of Mother Baba, you have to be new here, I would guess. So welcome. Salutations.
Yeah, we just got in today. Thank you.
But she's sort of a local seer, helper. Well, whenever you have a problem and you can't find a solution, you usually go to Mother Baba.
Oh, okay. So just like visions, insight, fortune, confidant.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, Mother Baba, they've been around almost as long as Summerbin has, some say.
Oh, the place looks really cool. So is it just services, or does she sell anything?
No, Mother Baba doesn't accept coin. That's not really how it works.
Oh. It's like a trade? Do we have to have... if I come by at some point.
Well, I mean...
You give her stuff?
It's kind of hard to tell. She usually sets the terms, if that makes sense. She's sometimes easygoing. Sometimes she does set a price, though I've never really heard of her asking for gold, but I guess it wouldn't be out of the question.
Okay, interesting. Cool. Like, just, like you said, we're just a little new. Well, I'm a little new here. And just never heard of it. I mean, it's a cool looking place, so I think I should check it out before I leave, you would say? Or do I just, if I have a problem?
I don't really know. I mean, for me personally, I mean, my brother fucked me over. He took all of my gold and all of our inventory, and he just left. Thinking with the cost, maybe Diro, I don't know. I'm hoping I can get a lead on him. That way I can hunt the fucker down.
That makes sense. I respect it. Hopefully she can show you a clear path.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. Anything. I mean, my life is ruined.
Well, thanks again for your time. Ovalin's good up to you.
Ovadin's blessing for you as well.
And as his back's turned, he kind of raises his hand. Like, thank you.
As you two sort of walk a couple of feet away from the queue outside this, again, domed vegetation hut shack.
How'd it go?
Well, that place sounds like a scam. It was fine. They were a little sassy at first. They're pretty formative. I mean, I guess they're like a seer of sorts. If you have a problem, hey, maybe they could, look into your goo dreams and like your frost murdering spell thing and that little
I really like how you minimize that. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah, we're always visualizing stuff like that.
So. Visions, not visualizing vision. Okay, let's put our stuff down. I think I need to wipe my face off from the sweat.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this is getting a little bad. And he lifts up his pack. I'm gonna take the pack in his back. It's just like soaked. Oh, now I don't want to put the backpack back on because it's gonna be cold. Ooh, okay. Whew. Kind of refreshing.
All right. Let's see if they have any availability here. I mean, it might not even be an inn. It's just like, I don't know. The sign makes it seem like an inn.
It sounds cozy. Well, worst case, it's another place we're familiar with.
Way to think positively, Renny.
As we would watch Renny and Enna casually stride across the various platforms and walkways of the upper branches, it would be, again, fairly easy to find Glowhearth. Probably one of the easiest places to track down here in the upper branches, seeing as it's probably one of the tallest buildings, especially now that you've sort of taken in a lot of this. As you approach, you can tell that it's definitely 3 stories. The top story may be a little bit of a shorter roof, but it's pretty big as you begin to approach. Again, that sort of almost rough log cabin aesthetic to its design, thick tree trunks used as those support beams in corners, walls being a very light stained wood panel. Again, those many windows that are pretty sizable around the exterior here would have a little bit of that fog or mist-like coating, obscuring the interior just enough, but giving you just enough detail to let you see the greeting insides. Opening up the very sturdy, heavy wooden door as you approach and enter Glowhearth. You would immediately be hit with the smell of ales and warm air, and as well as a little bit of almost like yeast, that almost like dive bar-esque type smell, just that set-in sort of odor. But it would maybe be sort of familiar. Maybe a little of like, oh, okay, it feels like normal now, a little normal.
Sounds like a good place.
And you would see across from where you're entering from, there would be the sort of classic, almost like a front reception desk. And just a few paces in, off to your right-hand side, you can see a fairly sizable looking tavern room, featuring about maybe 15, 20 patrons moving about. It's decent-sized interior, only being about 1 level, singular bar sort of on the other side of the corner there that you get sort of a pretty good view on as you sort of cross the space, stepping over to that front counter, seeing the back of what looks like this large blue dragonborn. Very stout shoulders, very wide. As they sort of turn around, you can see they have a bit of like a classic, almost like pea coat on, tunic underneath, sort of catching you. Sorry, didn't hear you two enter there. Greetings. Welcome to Glowhearth. Looking for drink or looking for room?
Room first, but definitely drink at some point.
Yes, smells amazing.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. We don't got a lot in the way of food, sadly. A few sandwiches, I guess, nothing fancy, but we got some good selection of ales, wines, and meads, trust me.
Oh, that's perfect. So we ate not too long ago. And maybe they have that drinkable drink here always going.
Maybe.
It's very drinkable.
He's not a fan, but it's fine. You're
said it was
right.
drinkable.
That's not the compliment you seem to think it is. We'll start with some rooms.
Oh.
What kind of availability do you have for tonight? Maybe 2 days?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
I mean, we got options. We got options. 1 room, 2 rooms.
2?
2 rooms, hopefully adjoining next to each other.
I think I may have something at least nearby. You said 2 days, and he sort of moved over to the side of this counter, flipping through what looks like just pages in this large tome. Looks almost like calendar dates, getting to the current. Yeah, I could do that. 2 nights, 2 separate rooms. That'll be 2 gold pieces for each of you. That'll get you locked in, and that does come with a free drink over at the tavern side.
1 per day, or like just 1 at all?
That's a good point.
We usually just do 1 per day, but tell you what, you tell him Jarrell said that you could get 1 tomorrow as well.
Ugh, fine chap, Jarrell.
This place is shaping up to be pretty sweet. Yeah,
I'll slide 2 gold over.
Excellent. Now, you do have a few amenities in your rooms. There are wash tubs, heated water service. We do have a chilled water service as well, if that's something you're interested in. No separate bathrooms or actual bathing stations besides the tubs, but we do offer armor polishing if you're in need, or blades shining, which I'm not seeing too much of, so I'll just stop there.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, let's get this one cleaned up. I sort of like
he's in his
jab
own
my
world.
thumb over you.
And he looks like he's all sweaty, like the hair on his forehead sticking. He's got like pit rings, sweat rings across his chest. Did you want to get cleaned up? Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, I said I really need a bath.
Excellent. Oh, hey, here's room keys 1, and there's that one for you. Should I bring up water sooner or later? Sooner for you.
Sooner for me.
Cleaned up. I think we're gonna look for some new duds since we're here. Or sorry, clothes. Slang from back in the day. I feel like I need as many layers here.
That's fair. I had the same thought. I'm from up north personally, and man, weather here, it's a little different, but man, it's nice to actually be able to enjoy the seasons, not being stuck inside during a freak snowstorm.
It's hard to imagine. Yeah, I'm actually from the north myself. It's hard getting adjusted to this. We only just got in today, probably.
Oh, both a couple of northerners, I see. Well, hey, you're in good company.
Well, where would you recommend we pick up some clothes suitable to the south?
A few different options there. I guess if I had to personally recommend anyone, a tailor's touch. It's ground level. You may have even passed it heading up here down there, but it's good quality material. It's all made locally, and I mean, if I'm being honest, shopkeep there, Ezzy, she's pretty nice. She's pretty fun.
Okay. Does it have like a sign?
Yeah. It's actually in this it's essentially like a bunch of shops kind of connected in like a row. I mean, you can't miss it. There's only a few of them here on the eastmost sister.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. We were seeing a lot of signs for stuff, and I just new. So it's just like, is that a home or a shop?
That's I had that one too. You're gonna run into that. A lot of stuff around here is word of mouth sort of operations. So
how quaint and inconvenient.
That's what I said. That's why I have the biggest sign I could possibly get on the front of this bad boy. I mean, the previous owners didn't even have a sign. It was just called the Glow Hearth, and it was silly.
That is silly. I guess in the south they're not as afraid of. I would imagine
that's probably the case. They could just afford to be outside all the time.
I would love to almost freeze to death.
Mm-hmm.
Wipe sweaty brow.
Yeah, I'll take some cold water in my room, please, Jarrell.
I'm sure if I just leave it there for like 5 minutes, it'll become warm.
The stuff stays cold pretty long. I mean, Not to toot my own horn, but my partner, she is a dragonborn with proficiency in ice, and we like to pride ourselves in keeping it cold as long as we can.
He looks so happy.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Sounds
this place is
amazing. We picked
working
the right
out.
place.
I knew I could trust a sign.
Hey,
Yeah, thanks to your sign,
anytime.
Noel.
Could I ask what brings you to Summerbend?
Oh, we're just adventuring around. I did a little dredging work, and we're just kind of following my dredger's intuition.
I'm like literally rolling my
I
eyes
get
next
that.
to him.
I did a little bit of dredging myself after my time with the Knights.
Dredging man. See? He probably gets it. He knows the intuition.
Is that like
Kind
a
of
thing?
called
He
different
just
things
gets
to
a
different
thing.
people. I always called it my gut check, but you gotta listen to it when it pops up.
Yeah. See? It pops up and it shows you where a cave's at. Follow it.
Sure. But if you're looking for something to do, we got a pretty big request board over on the tavern side. Can't really miss it. Takes up basically that whole goddamn wall over there. But all sorts of random shit. Maybe something that would be useful to a couple of in their prime dredgers.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Probably see what kind of damage we do get in new clothes and stuff. Might have to re-up.
Right. Again, Taylor's touch. It's gonna be ground level. It's like a big block of these like shops, all connected. He can't miss it. Ezzy, talk to her. She's good people.
Okay, should we tell her you sent us?
You can tell her I said shit. It's fine. I mean, she comes up here to drink every now and again. Haven't seen her in the past week or so. Tell her that first one's on me. How about that?
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
What
Thank
can
you,
I
Jarrell,
say?
hooking us up.
Us Northerners gotta look out for each other, right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Else we'll all
It's too
melt.
hot down here.
It is. Hopefully this ends soon. But you know what? I think we're ready to check out those rooms, and I would just love that cold water. Not to rush you. I'm just so looking forward to being cold again.
Not a problem. Hey, room number is going to be on the keys there. Head on up the stairs right off to the side. Yep, right over that corner.
Okay, cool.
You can't miss it. You're just a couple doors in. I'll have those waters up. I mean, as soon as we can, honestly.
I don't mean to be too pushy. Can they bring like a cold ale too?
Ooh, okay, all right. I think I could probably work something out. What are you thinking? Oh wait, I mean, you wouldn't even know what brews we got down here. Let me see. I think you give me the feel of like a Timberfell. You like something like a little medium, not too dark, a little bit of a head.
Yeah. Do you have any mead?
We do. We have a little bit of a house mead, actually.
Okay. I trust your judgment, but I'm a mead fan personally. Maybe just something a little sweet.
Hey, I could do that. Our only mead we got is pretty sweet. Again, not to toot my partner's horn any more than I already have, but they're pretty good at what they do.
That'd be great. I don't know if Enna wants anything, but a bath and a beer sounds fantastic.
Yes, I'll also take a tankard of the house mead. Thank you.
What would I owe you for that?
Hey, these will be your first ones on the tavern side. How about that, friends?
Oh, that'd be perfect. Oh, thank you. Place is really working out.
Beautiful.
And then, we take our leave.
It's got that northern touch.
Northern touch.
You go to the northern cities and nothing's free, and they make you pay for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
We would watch you guys head over to that left side, head up those stairs that lead to the pretty large second level here. Walking down just past a few doors, you would see that your two rooms would be right next to each other, kind of on the far end of this kind of like almost horseshoe-esque like row of hallways, row of doors. Walking over, you guys open them up, and they would be finely lavish and furnished rooms. There would be a large, very comfy armchair in each one, as well as a small ottoman to put your feet up on. A sizable wash tub over in the far corner. Space in here being pretty spacious. I mean, if you had to, you could get 3 people, and 2 people could sleep on the floor, and you'd have plenty of room still to move about. It's like pretty good size in here. Maybe as you move into the space, maybe each of you in your own separate rooms, maybe take off, shrug off some of that other armor and the sort of like extra clothings. Maybe there is that like sort of check the bed moment or throw yourself on the bed. And these may be some of the softest beds you guys have ever felt.
As I'm like laying in the bed, luxuriating in how freaking soft it is, because I've probably never laid on anything like that in my life. I would like get up really quickly and I'd rush over to his door and knock like, a little frantically.
Hold on,
Renny!
I can't.
Renny!
He's like waddling off the bed. Okay. What?
Hey, before you put back on your disgusting clothes, use this cleansing stone, okay? Clean it up. You're gonna undo your entire bath if you put that back on.
Okay. Fine.
Yes,
These
here.
rooms are
put
great,
it in
though.
your
Look,
hands.
there's even a bed for Renny, and he'll point at the ottoman. I mean, how many people have a pet bed? That's wild.
Yeah.
He's lucky.
Boy Lucky sure
it's
is
wild.
living up to his name.
#3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even checked out this whole room. I haven't found any false floorboards or traps. It's pretty nice.
I was like nodding along with you until you started talking about false floorboards and traps. I was like checking for bugs.
Renny's like, how can somebody get in here and take shit? And if you looked probably on the bed, you can see like his disgusting backpacks there. There's like a little bit of a sweat ring where he was laying.
Oh, gross.
Just a little bit.
Ugh.
All right, well, I guess I'll use the stone. What do I do? Do I just like, and he'll like act like it's soap? So like, no?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hold it in your hand. I taught you this already.
I preferred the quick dips in the river.
Okay, and then say the word.
Okay.
Too quick. Your dips have been. Do not dip as quickly in this tub.
I need to chill in my
Don't
bones.
waste the chilled water.
That's Lucky needs to get cleaned up too.
Mm-hmm, me too.
He looks cleaner than Renny.
Yeah, he probably does.
Cleansing stone, bath, meads. And then I guess we'll head out in like an hour-ish too. Yeah, I guess if we're
I'll wait for you downstairs.
That's fair. Okay. He's just still looking at the stone. Use it. Okay, I got it.
Okay. I like shout the word for you a couple more times, like as I'm closing the door.
As you hear him go.
The activation word.
We get a montage of each of you heading back into your rooms. Probably not, but 30, 45 seconds later, you would both get separate knocks on your door. You would see a kind of fairly short, maybe like 5'3", woman with very, very short, dark brown hair. Her eyes, her actual like coloring of her eyes would be a very, very, very light blue, almost white. You would see that she would look human passing, though I'd imagine Enna and probably Renny. You guys are both fairly familiar with dragon kin. But you would both recognize her as a white dragonling. Someone who looks fairly human, but has these very minor dragon-like features across them, much like you, Enna. And she would pass off these large containers just full of, freezing cold water, where there would actually be like floating ice chunks in it still, like essentially enough water to fill your ice baths. And as well as once all the water has been sort of transported up for you, you would each receive a cold, frothy mead. Both of you taking a sip. It would be a little sweet. It would have a good head on it. Maybe a little darker than you were anticipating, but it's pretty smooth. Anything particular for either one of you, as we would probably have these little momentary vignettes where we would see them maybe like in the midst of cleaning up or maybe like checking their gear after washing off. They'd sort of have these brief moments to themselves before heading down to the tavern floor to meet back up.
I mean, Enna probably would have like shared a couple words with the other dragonling, like, Hey, we have so much in common. Dragon leaves from the north. Fist
She'd
bump.
give you the fist bump, probably like yeah, fuck the north. It sucks.
Glad to be here. Thanks for helping me feel welcome. And this cold bath is going to be amazing.
So many travelers come through just wishing for this sort of stuff, and so many taverns here and bathhouses just don't get it. Some of us from the north, we like a good ice bath, and I don't know, it's the little things.
Mm-hmm. It wakes the blood.
It wakes everything, honestly. I don't know how you could start your day outside of that. But anyway, please enjoy your bath. If you need anything, please let me or my husband know.
Thank you. And if I can I just sort of like really analyze this mead to see if I could figure out like her process, since mead is kind of like her whole thing.
What skill do you think she would apply to that, or would she use like her brewer's kit? Let's do it. Let's use our brewer's kit.
My brewer's kit, if that's all right. Yeah, a little like nothing like an ice bath and a cold mead to really spark your hobby. She's like, I finally feel nice and cold. Sets up on her table and adds the last drops of mead into her brewing kit. Analyze it.
You begin to pick out
18.
All of the notes that they used in this particular brew, down to the fact where you think that this was brewed maybe a month ago, maybe a little less than a month ago. You could tell they used a lot of different fruits. Some of the fruits, and maybe even some of the actual acidic properties in it, you're not even 100% sure where these come from. They had to have been from fruits. They're organic, but nothing from anything you've heard of.
She probably really likes it then. She likes trying new things. Makes her excited for being in the South.
And it's probably like one of those where you spent more time analyzing the actual mead before you actually just took a drink of it, and you're like, oh, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I can taste that now that I see.
Anything else for Enna in this little time alone?
Maybe she's actually not that early down to the tavern because she's having fun playing with her brewer's kit for the first time in forever.
I like that. Thinking maybe like 40-ish minutes, like more than that.
I mean, she definitely enjoyed her bath for a good long time. So I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes each. 30 minutes in the bath, and then it's like not icy anymore. So she gets out and then plays with the brewer's kit for like another 30 minutes, and then she's like, oh shoot, I should go downstairs.
I love that. As we pan over to Renny, how would his sort of like bath time and cleaning up be?
He would use the cleansing stone.
Yay!
As you have that sort of it's like a 1-inch diameter marble, maybe squeeze it, use that command word, and there's this whoom, this wave as all of those sweat stains, that sort of salt build up, and even your sweat pits and some of the minor little dirty marks you may have gotten on your clothing just whoom, immediately dissipates. The sweat on your brow and your sort of hair that was maybe still caked to the back of your neck would whoom, you'd feel this air of relief in this split second.
Oh, hey, it worked. Hey, look, Lucky. That stain came out. It's been there since before that oppressive flame temple. I thought it was just part of it now. This is crazy. And this is fun. You should try it. And then he'll pause for a second, I can't say the word. We'll figure that part out. Don't worry, buddy. The important thing is, and you won't be mad. I don't think she appreciates a good funk. Hides you from the enemies. As you know, you cute little buddy. Okay, do you want some of my mead? Let's go. And he'd climb into this cold bath, and then just oh yeah. And then he would just clean up Lucky a little bit, and then he would he would take some mead, and then he'd tip it to the edge to see if Lucky would drink out of it. Real comfortable with his.
Would Lucky? Would he kind of lap it up a little bit? Is this a typical practice, I guess I should say?
Yeah, he takes a little bit of the mead and that's why he's a chunky boy. Whatever Renny's eating, he gives to Lucky, so he's just this little chunky gray and white mouse.
I love that.
Yeah, probably after 15, 20 minutes of just kind of letting that chill soak to the point where he gets used to it, then he'd be like, okay, I guess we should go downstairs and wait, huh, buddy? And he would probably just like, yeah, fuck it. At this point, he probably wouldn't put his leather armor and stuff on because it would just be like so hot. So he would just have like his normal his normal pants and tunic. He wouldn't do the cloak or anything else, and then he would put Lucky in the hood of his green cloak, normally without the hay that he would normally wear. But this time, it's like, go in there, buddy. Don't worry, we'll find something. It's just so hot. You get it.
As you would see Lucky, your little mouse, just curl up in that hood as you begin to head out from your room. How long do you think it took you to get ready?
Probably like 30-ish minutes. I mean, he probably used the stone, like after the water and stuff was there, and then he got in the bath. Maybe like it's about 15 minutes, kind of get that chill, finish his drink. 10 minutes or so to kind of get dressed, and then he's not I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word, but the bath isn't his luxury enjoyment.
Yeah, it was just a process he had to do.
He really just wanted, if anything, he mostly just wanted to get cold.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Like, even if, and after he's the cleansing stone, he's like, well, I probably just don't even have to really wash.
I knew he would think that. I knew it.
Yeah, to scrub or anything. This is great. And then like he might like push his bag underneath and maybe like stash a dagger into the mattress, one under the pillow, because he's got some extras.
Mm-hmm.
And then just head down. Maybe it's just like a simple dagger in his waist, and he always keeps like his coin pouch on the inside, like so nobody can see it.
Smart.
And then I think he feels a little more comfortable, a little more safe, and I think like on the river he got a lot better at like using his like psychic blades and stuff, so he's a little more control.
Mm-hmm. He's a little more comfortable.
Yeah, he's feeling confident.
As we would see Renny make his way out of his room first, head back across that sort of horse room hallway, back down the stairs, down to that sort of ground floor. Probably having that little greeting with Jalrel again, as he would probably welcome you over to the tavern side. Would there be anywhere else you would try to go? He's going to hang out at the tavern.
Although he feels confident, like he probably would just wait because it's still like, we get separated. And then what if she gets mad at me? Just followed me out of that temple. Right. Plus, he is still like a little like he's comfortable, but it's still like new place. I don't know anybody.
Sure. That makes a ton of sense. Heading over to that tavern side. Again, there's maybe 20 or so patrons milling about the fair sized tavern space here. Kind of on that opposite side wall, you would see the decent sized, well stocked bar. You would see there would look to be a Leonin sort of working this bar. Sort of classic vest on, sleeves rolled up, sort of milling about, looking to be like organizing some barrels over here, like about to probably drop a spigot in one of these. Looking at a few people, no one particularly catches your eye, but the request board that Jalrel mentioned definitely catches your eye.
Mm-hmm.
As this thing is about a 15-ish foot long in length board that's sort of like resting on a wall that is basically over to your right as you enter. It would have been like loosely obfuscated from where you guys were previously, but as you sort of step in, it's just almost like a main focal point, this giant board. You see all manner of parchment sort of lining it from side to side. It's stuffed to the brim with parchment.
Might just order a mead and then go peruse.
Take me off 1 copper piece for that mead, my good sir, as you go check out this here request board.
Done. All right. He puts the copper down, grabs his mead, kind of slides back off the chair. He's just like, I mumbling to himself, like, oh my god, so many things. Does nobody fucking work around here? What the hell? What is all this? And he would just kind of like read some, almost like enjoying it, like take a sip. Somebody needed. This sounds boring. Somebody.
It's a lot of stuff like that. It's like, help find lost cat, please. Like another one, noisy neighbor, need advice, stat. Another one, like offering herbology classes, low entry fee.
He's probably an asshole for some of it, like in his mumblings. Like, find lost cat, that's dead. Noisy neighbor, just kill him, bro. Herbology, that sounds boring. Well, there are plants around here. Something a little more dangerous? What's going on?
Roll me 1d6, Renny, as you're scanning this giant request board, trying to sift through some of the nonsense postings.
At some point, it's like Men in Black. He grabs like a stool and just drags it. And then he climbs up. What? It's up here. I got a 5.
A 5. As you're looking through some of these, again, you're sifting through a lot of nonsense. Sort of scanning it a couple of times, your sight would linger on a request with dark green ink that almost shimmers a little bit in the torchlight that lights up the interior here. As you move over to it, you can even notice that it would have a wax seal pressed in at the bottom right-hand corner of it. Needs to maybe move and like pull the posting down as it's just a little bit out of your eye range. Pull it off of its nail. And as you look, you can see that it would read, "The Snowberries are taking applications for several positions in their tour group, including stagehands, security, supporting musicians, warm-up acts, and assistants. Applicants may apply at the western base of the westmost sister. Find the green and gold carriage or wagon."
What was the group called one more time?
The Snowberries.
Huh. Stagehand is like security. Okay, no warm-up act. Base of the westmost sister. What the fuck am I not smelling who the sister is? Green and gold carriage. Or ooh. He just kind of gets stuck on gold.
And maybe this process took you a little bit of time. Again, he came in here, chatted up the barkeep, got your mead, scanned through the almost endless nonsense postings, finally found a good one, and maybe been sitting here pondering it for 4 or 5 minutes as we would see Enna sort of leave her room, sort of walk down the horseshoe hallway, down those stairs to the ground level, probably having that same sort of like quick back and forth with Jarrell, mentioning that your friend is over in the tavern side. Sort of entering the space again, still about 20 or so patrons, a few little groups, a couple individuals, seeing the Leonin barkeep on your sort of far side over to the left. Over on this right side, you probably see standing on a stool, just like nearby or like on a chair, right by the request board is Renny, as he's just looking over a particular posting in one hand with a probably like half full tankard of mead in his other hand.
Mm-hmm.
What's your passive perception?
14.
Okay, so you definitely notice her. She like kind of tries to sneak up behind you.
If he could tell you're trying to sneak, he would wait to get right next to him, and then he'd just be like, "Enna!"
She like just opens her mouth, and so she's like, ah!
Look, I found. Oh,
I'm gonna get you one day.
one day.
What are you looking at?
I don't know. It just sounds interesting. I mean, snowberries. The first thing that caught me was snow. Well, honestly, the first thing I got, and he'd fold it again. Look at his writing. I'm not quite sure what that seal is, but it looks fancy. But, I mean, and he still has it in his hand as he motions to the rest of the board. It's like, I mean, a lot of this is just like missing cat, noisy Maver. It's just like, still not sure if that one's like a hit job or not, but this sounds kind of cool. I mean, if we decide we need to do it, snowberries, maybe they're from the north.
Maybe.
I don't know how I'm supposed to figure out who most sister is, but we have to find her, and I guess there's a wagon by him.
No, they call the trees the sisters, right? So westmost sister would be the west tree. We're on the east tree.
We're on the east sister. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of zoned out a little bit when they were talking about the town.
Yeah, I could see it from the distant look in your eye and the way you kept picking between your toes.
Okay, I wasn't picking. You're the one who's always talking about cleanliness.
I mean, yeah, that's why I didn't stop you. I didn't want you to
look.
put the dirt there.
He'd sit down and put his foot up. So clean.
Wow, I think you even used the cleansing stone.
I did. It was pretty cool. I was surprised, I hadn't used it sooner. Would have been better than those quick little dips in the river. It was just hard to fully dunk it, and then it was a fast-moving current. I was always on the boat. Yeah, I guess I could have actually got him when we stopped at a couple of those villages, but I didn't want to be left. why I withheld the best story till the end. You get it. Never too careful. So anyway, maybe we could get some clothes, see what kind of damage we do, and it says a tour group, and maybe they'll head to Arlemere.
That would be convenient. I mean, either way, we can find out where they're going.
It might just be worth a check.
I would like the cleansing stone back, though. Just like holding your hand out.
I mean, okay, so it's still in the room.
Okay, well, that's fine. We can't lose it. I left my bags behind, too.
Yeah, it's just trying to keep it a little light. It's just so hot, and I was just once after that ice cold bath, I just wanted to put on the leather. It was just so hot.
Yeah, I left behind my extra layers as well. I haven't walked around with such little stuff since, well, before I had any stuff.
I feel so quick and loose, but don't worry. All my stuff has been hidden throughout the rooms. Good luck anybody finding anything.
I imagine you like looking around as you say that.
Yeah, right.
Enna, roll me a quick d6.
Okay.
As you guys are just standing off to the side of this request board still, and maybe as you guys are about to walk away,
2.
a particular posting would catch your eye. As you sort of look, the one that draws your eye, Enna, would be almost like a longer, more dark piece of parchment with a very dark ink used for the very bold writing on it, giving it almost like a moody look. And it would be probably a name that catches you more than anything. But you would collectively read, Cleanser Armit requests armed support to investigate a well located roughly a day outside of Summerbend. Interested folks should bring this parchment and come by Mother Baba's. And you maybe move over to the posting and like pull it off the board, like kind of read through it once or twice. You're like, huh.
Oh, what do you think of this, Renny?
No, this looks a little ominous. Here, you can have some of this if you want. If you hold this for a second, and hand off this tankard to see.
Oh.
2 hands holds it. I mean, I thought the bead was pretty good and had some time, but I'm kind of feeling it a little bit. You blow what's about me. Cleansing arm request. Okay, arm support. Oh, it's a well. It's not too far away. That might be a better option because I always take those air travel thing they were talking about. Interesting. Oh, Mother Baba's. Hey, that works out. That was the place that that guy was talking about. The seer thing. We can ask about your deadly goo.
Yeah.
Sorry. We can ask about your visions.
Yes. Thank you.
We can ask about your visions.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, it's closer. Do you want to do that first before we get new clothes?
Yeah, I mean, when we came in, there was quite a bit of a line.
Will we have to stand in that line? Yeah, the parchment.
I don't know. They are pretty snappy before.
Well, if they snap us away, then we can go get clothes and maybe check out the Western Tree.
Yeah, you're right. We could at least just check out the line.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling chilled, refreshed.
It was nice to just be cold for a little bit. And that mead was great.
Never thought I'd miss the cold.
I didn't either. You spend so much time hating being cold and you get hot and you're just like, oh my god. When he's talking about potentially freezing to death, I just kind of miss those days.
A little.
Okay, maybe I don't miss almost freezing to death. The Undercity at Ulthir is not a warm place. I will tell you that.
There's the fort. All right, let's head out.
Let's do.
I throw back the rest of your drink.
As we would see Renny and Enna make their way out of the glow hearth. Probably getting a quick goodbye from Jarrell, hopefully bidding you all a safe trip, seeing you all later that night, hopefully. Stepping out into the upper branches again, see those many walkways and pathways built into and on top of the spreading branches of this high up section of Summerbend. Where's our first locale?
Mother's Baba was like straight across, right?
It was pretty close, yeah. It was just like a little hop, skip, and a jump here in the upper branches.
That's what I know.
Yeah, I think we would have plotted to do Mother Baba's first because it's on like the same branch, if that's how it's referred, and then probably go to the Taylor's Touch because it's at the bottom of the tree, and then go to the west tree.
Perfect.
It's kind of like closest to far.
So as you two begin to cross the upper branches, one of you roll me a d12.
How about you? I did the last roll.
There. D12. I got a 10.
A 10. Now, only taking a couple of minutes to get back over to Mother Baba's. As you approach again that almost, domed shack that seems to be entirely comprised of vegetation atop it, there would still be about 10 people outside, though they would be 10 completely different people from when you were here, a little over an hour ago.
Okay. All right, well, the line's still there. Can I see that paper?
Yeah, here.
Yeah, let me, All right. Little trick I picked up in Ulthir. Worst case, this will blow up in our face, and we'll have to wait. Just follow my lead. We shall walk with confidence. And he kind of puts his shoulders back, and he kind of puts his free hand on, like, the hilt of his dagger. And then holding the paper, like, in front of him, he'll just walk brazenly towards the entrance.
Give me a persuasion or an intimidation check. And I'll give you advantage. You have Enna there.
Yeah.
And this is sort of just for that, like, the bravado. Is anyone going to buck up and say anything as you basically go to the front of the line?
No persuasion, because it's trying to be more of like, oh, he looks like he's got shit to do, than like, don't. Okay, roll. A nat 20, 26.
A natural 20 for a 26. As you would see a confident Renny followed by Enna, sort of like mirroring that confidence he's just oozing with each step. As you would approach the humble hovel, again, about 10 people or so in line, a few Owlin, Tabaxi, a half-elf or two. As soon as you begin to approach, the front door, that almost rounded circle door to the shack, would open up. You would see what looks like a very nice red-haired looking human step out, freckles across her face, pale skin. As immediately as she would step out of the door, leaving it loosely open, you would see that instinctively she would be going to the next person in line to bid them entrance. But as soon as Renny and Enna would sort of come into sight, she would immediately step to the side. There would maybe be like one person and towards the back of the line that's like, "Hey, what are they doing?"
He Renny put his hand up.
You just hold up the parchment.
Yep.
As this woman is walking out, essentially opening the door for you at this point, you two would both confidently walk in next. As soon as you would step in out of that threshold of the doorway, that rounded door would shut ever so gracefully behind you. The interior here would look like a hoarder that enjoys organizing their belongings. Things stuffed on wayward bookshelves, stacks of books lining a particular part of the wall on one side of the not too spacious shack. And you would even see a tall display rack with countless baubles. And this being just one corner of the overly filled room. But the focal point, the thing that would truly catch your eye, would be the center table with chairs along the side closest to you. And on the other side of the table would be a large, barrel-chested woman. Her features maybe vaguely resemble elven, maybe at one point in time. But her nose would almost crane down to a point. Her pointed ears would jettison high and then begin to sag downward just a little bit. Her dark blue hair would just be sort of spun in a bit of a messy bun behind her head. Her eyes being a little bit larger than anticipated. Her features being a little bit larger. The space isn't very big, but even from this far away, they look a little bit too large. You would see with curiosity Mother Baba, this giant hulk of a woman, would almost lean forward on the table here, resting on her elbows, her elongated fingers sort of intertwining together, showing a chipped dark blue paint across her pretty pointed looking fingertips. her dress being fairly almost serene, almost looking like piles and piles of beautiful cloth just draped across her form that make up this unique dress that she would be wearing. Immediately, almost without any introduction, you know that this is Mother Baba. And without anything, the door behind you already shut, taking in the space, Mother Baba would call out, hearing her voice as if she's right next to you, even though she's maybe about 20-ish feet away on the other side of this, fairly quaint shack on the side of the table. Ah, yes, dearies. I see you picked up my request, or rather a request on behalf of my friend, raising a hand, giving it a bit of a gentle wave in the air. You'd see a shimmer of turquoise magic emanating from Mother Baba's overly long fingers. Seeing again those nails being about an inch or so long as they almost click together at points. Seeing that, again, that dark blue chipped paint on them. The cleanser will be with us momentarily. Please take a seat here while we sit. And she motions to the chairs on the opposite side of the table from her in this cluttered shack that you're in.
Oh yeah, it sounds great. I love your space and what you're doing with it. It's quite the aesthetic. You always seem to have a line of people. This would be quite the establishment. As he kind of like pulls out the stool, and pops a squat.
Yeah, I follow behind, sit down as well.
Yeah, so we just saw this, and I just thought we could do this. I mean, we're good investigators, but travelers. Yeah, so we are new here, but I heard a little bit about what you do here this morning. So did you just see some trouble at this well, or what do you need from us, or is it Cleanser Armit that's going to fill us in?
Oh, yes. I maybe should have started with that again. This request would be on the behalf of a friend, Cleanser Armit. They are located far off in the Saren Cliffs, though their work would curiously bring them here to me.
Oh, that's cool. The Saren Cliffs. Cliffs. Do they have some caves over there?
Oh, darling, many caves, but please, talks of caves are so boring.
Oh.
While we wait, how could Mother Baba help you too?
Well, any problems? Because I've using my intuition to find a cave, and this one keeps having visions. Stuff. So yeah, I mean, if I want to help you find that cave, it'd be great. If that's how it works, I don't know. As we go wait for Cleanser, he kind of mumbles off. Too much.
Very interesting. One of you sees a cave. One of you sees visions. Curious.
Sometimes it just happens. A few times it's when we hold hands. Is that what you do? Do we need to hold your hand? He'll put his hand out. Or he'll take his hand back. Maybe not.
Perhaps we will save that.
Oh, okay.
For child, you have not truly told me what you wanted. A cave. How barbaric.
What?
And visions. How simple.
Okay. What do I want? Well, I was hoping there'd be riches in the cave. I find myself a little bit of a liberator of goods. Lost to time. Reintroducing back into the world. Bit of a dredger.
Ah, my child. You misunderstand of what you seek. You thirst for glory.
Okay. I always thought I just wanted treasure. Okay, glory.
These are simplistic ideas. Treasure, gold, that comes and goes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, because, I got some gold. I've been spending it. It gets you things in the world. Glory, though. Yeah, I guess you're right. That does sound pretty enticing. Like fame and glory? People would know Renford Applewick far and wide?
And there's maybe a slight, almost intoxication as you say the words out loud. You're like, oh, okay. That's a fun thought.
He's having some realization. Just oh.
And then Mother Baba would almost dramatically look over at you, Enya. What about you, my sweet little dragonling? What do you truly want?
Is there is this a normal atmosphere or like, is there something in the air? Does that make sense?
Give me a insight or an arcana. I'll take either one of those. Just you trying to, check the room temp.
16 insight.
A 16. As you're maybe trying to, suss out like, what is this? Is this normal? Is this this line of questioning? And with a 16, I mean, Mother Baba seems thoroughly curious to get to the root of at least what Renny truly desired. She was pushing past superficial claims and finding what he truly desired. You can feel her gaze sort of falling on you, asking the same sincere question. The atmosphere in the room being fairly light, maybe an air of curiosity, as that would be what would be what you see in Mother Baba's eyes. Is she's almost like on the edge of her seat, waiting to find the answer.
Well, if I were being as honest as Rennie's search for glory, I suppose I would be wanting to understand who I am. I don't know my origin, and maybe that's stereotypical for an orphan, but I just feel like there's something more going on, especially with these visions, and that's why I followed Renny out here.
Oh my goodness, that's such a bitter. Can I change my answer? He pulls out his necklace with the crudely carved apple. I guess I would like to find my parents. If that's such lucky, it doesn't work like that. Stop. I'd love to find them.
You would see Mother Baba sort of turn and look curiously at you, Renny. And only a second later, what would look to be a fairly large trunk that sort of like rested up, standing against what looks like another pile of belongings. The top of the trunk would almost thrum magically in a brief moment before the top would open. Stepping through it, you would see what looks like an elfin man. He would have dark black hair, sort of that it's very much almost like this detailed braid behind his head. Not too terribly long, but just a little bit past the shoulders, kind of touching the upper part of his back. Fine, dark red robes with what looks like a very fine gray, almost silver, like threading throughout. A few intricate designs up and down the sleeves and shoulders of this immaculate robe this elf would be wearing. They would have fine, almost light tan skin. Very dark brown eyes, fine point to their ears with very soft, delicate features. As they step out of this trunk into the overly crowded space, you would see Mother Baba look over happily. Armit, I see you finally decided to arrive. Oh, and looks back at the two of you, Renny and Enya. Perhaps after your business, we could dive into your true desires, kind of motioning to Enya collectively and to the necklace that Renny's sort of like holding up on display. Please, great cleanser. I was just entertaining your hopeful hires. You would see the elf man sort of step into the space, look at the two of you, maybe like cross his arms slightly. Only two of you. I was really hoping to possibly have a small band, but it'll be fine.
We are professionals.
Oh, professionals.
Yeah, I mean, I have quite the experienced treasure. We've handled ourselves a few times. I mean, I've got a great story about a sand snake. Or, you know what? You just let us know what you need.
Renny, give me a persuasion check. And Enya, if you want to give him advantage, let me know how you would sort of hop in and help.
I can't help but think as soon as you're like, I've got a great story, I'm already pulling like my cloak over and you say sand snake and I just kind of like point at the scar.
You have these scars on your neck. I love it. Give me that persuasion check with advantage, Renny.
Okay. A 15.
15. You would see this fairly well composed elven man, again, Cleanser Armit. He would sort of look curiously at the two of you and look over to Mother Baba. And Mother Baba would give a bit of a nod. These are good people. Good people, my friend Armit. And Armit would sort of look back at the two of you. Very well. Look, perhaps what skills do you have if we are to encounter anything dangerous out on our survey? What would you have to defend us?
Go ahead.
No, you can start. He's really debating whether or not he would show off or not.
Well, while you're debating, I'll just sort of like stand up and like have my short sword at my side. And then I'd say, even without this, I'm a trained warrior. I don't need my sword to fight. And I'll sort of like punch at the air. And
shadow boxing.
Yeah, I'm going to use my, what is it? My draconic strike. And I'm going to do like, with each punch, I'll do like a different element.
Nice. One punch, you got a little bit of lightning. The second punch, you can see that cold air sort of break and snap with the punch. You sort of shift back and forth, and you would see Cleanser Armit looked pretty impressed by that, as he would give a bit of a nod. Okay, all right. Now that's something I could put some faith in. Impressive, young lady. Impressive. Truly skilled.
Thank you. I know about faith and skill. Kind of looking a little smug at Renny, like, come on now.
I can do this, and he'll kind of like pop up out of the chair. Is there something you're not too keen on around here?
Mother Baba would sort of look at you with like almost a delightful grin. Oh, feel free to display in any way you so choose, sweetie.
Okay. And he'll pick like 3 random objects, and he'll just like he'll just start throwing psychic blades, like 3 of them.
I love it. Maybe one of those like wayward bookshelves that has random items on it. There's like a couple of dolls or figures with heads, and you just like 3 shots to just headshot these 3 figures like on this bookshelf.
And then a moment later, they just kind of poof into that shimmering smoke and disappear. Plus, I have like, actual swords and daggers and stuff. I just keep it a little light 'cause it's just hot here.
Okay. Should be fine. Our trek isn't too terribly long. If you do accept, our journey will be about a day out. There's a small village just a little bit further south down the Presh River. They've been experiencing some strange oddities at the well that they frequent, forcing them to use river water and purify it and the like, just adding difficulty. And
it's gross.
Reading some of the reports, I hope that this should be a fairly straightforward cleansing, but in case of physical confrontation, and he would sort of motion to the 2 of you, that is why you 2 will be paid handsomely. If you are to accompany me, we will head to the village tomorrow morning, arriving likely before sunset, hopefully trying to investigate the well, and then making our return journey the following day. I would hope a 2-day trek isn't too much to ask. For compensation, we can do 14 gold pieces for each of you.
Okay. I mean, this sounds right up our alley. I mean, not too long ago, we were drinking out of this like pristine pool, like it was some good ass water. And then, have you heard of a giant salamander? Came out of nowhere. Well, somewhere. They come from somewhere. And then a little bit of this, and he pops up a psychic blade, and then he puts it back away. And then some of those fist things, I mean, we put it down. So I think we sound like suited. This would be great. I'm fine with 14 gold. Is it half up front or half there?
14 gold upon completion.
Okay, just checking. I mean, We're fine. I just like to know all the details. And yeah.
Yeah, 14 gold works for me.
Yeah, if you'll have us, we'd love to help out. Plus, we're kind of still new here, so to get a vibe, a sense of our surroundings in other towns with a guide, so to speak, I think that'd be pretty good.
Right. I guess there will be an added benefit of only traveling with 3 people. We'll be light on our feet. So
Yeah, quieter and quicker.
exactly. Good point, my small friend. Very good point.
He grimaces.
I
He
just
clenches his jaw.
pat your shoulder.
And you would see Cleanser Armit sort of look over at Mother Baba. Mother, is it all right if you and I speak alone for a bit? I have a few questions I wanted to send your way. You would see Mother Baba look elated. Of course, yes. Please, you two. Probably looks at Armit. Come back tomorrow morning. Armit should be here and at the ready, and perhaps after you return, we could dive into some of those true desires you seek.
Okay, that sounds cool. Hey, just real quick before you head out, I noticed you have like stuff in here, and someone had mentioned that you want trade for services. Would us be helping Armit be that trade, or should we find just stuff that you might want?
Oh, sweetie, I won't really know what to ask for until it's done.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, kind of work you'd have to put in. So,
I only say this because sometimes visions don't always seed correctly.
oh, you visualize things too.
In a sense, your twos sound partially more unique, but my divining requires knowing true intention. Hence why I had to sift through the riffraff you threw on me, gold and trinkets and the like. While I do appreciate them, those are not true desires.
Okay, cool. Yeah, your intuition sounds crazy. I'm looking forward to it. And he'll kind of like hop off from the stool.
And Cleanser Armit would give you both a nod. Excellent. Yes, as Mother said, I will be here tomorrow morning at first light. We'll set out and we will help this small town ease their suffering.
Glad to be of
Sounds
service.
great. Yeah, thanks for considering us. Looking forward to it. And he'll like just beeline to the door.
As you guys get to the door, Mother Baba would call out, "Oh, sweeties, please, if you could tell my other patrons in line that I'll be a bit caught up for the next 2-3 hours talking with my friend here. Just break the news to them for me."
Oh, they're gonna love that. I'm looking at you. We both know you're doing it.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll let him know for sure. Definitely. And he's gonna whisper to him, like, 3 hours?
You could say 2.
I might as well, say 3 and hope it's 2, right?
Whatever you think.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best. I think I saw that on a mug somewhere. And he'll open the door when he comes out. He'll just kind of like, "Thank you for your patience, official business. She just wanted me to tell you it might be 3 hours before you guys can come in."
You
but
would see the now
definitely worth the wait.
13-person queue all just like deflate. The person closest to you, the person you sort of cut off to get to the door, they would be this fairly large-looking minotaur, and they would just sort of like throw their hands up. "You've got to be shitting me," as they would stomp off.
Hey man, I get it. Armit the Cleanser's quite the talker.
As you watch the little over a dozen people disperse into the loose crowd and the other sort of citizens here in the upper branches. Standing outside Mother Baba's place, where would our 2 adventurers like to head off next?
On his way out, can I just roll an Arcana check? He just wanted to get
Give
the
me
vibe
an
if there's like
Arcana
magic
check.
in the place. The door kind of opened and closed in the plant. Oh, 4. Okay, he's not magical.
I mean, yeah, as far as you know, that place is super
cool.
magical, or there's no magic at all with the 4.
Maybe that's what he talks about. Man, that place is so cool. It's so magic. Or maybe she has some cool tricks. Are there self-closing doors? Maybe she's just good with
I keep
plants.
opening my mouth to like try to contribute, and you just ask another question, and then I open my mouth to answer that, and then you ask another question.
Yeah. Are there self-closing doors? Ghost answer. Yeah, I mean, there's probably not. That's crazy. But I mean, I wonder if she's good at plants. Or maybe it's just this whole place. Never gives you.
Well, I think
you been
we're
quiet?
pretty
What do you
much at
think?
the stairs.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It probably
I just
is
keep
hard to
walking.
cleanse
Like
it against the
I
real
can
magic
hear you
answer.
clearly behind me. I know you're not wandering away, and I start leading us down the stairs to the tailors.
As we would watch the two of you progress down that long spiral staircase that descends the entirety of the eastmost sister, they would find themselves back in the city, sort of like the ground base of the city proper, if you will. As they would sort of walk around those dirt roads and pathways, they would pass by again several other shops, stores, homes, several of them not having any sort of branding or signage in any way that would help humble travelers like yourself. But seeing the sort of spider web roads that's spread all throughout the ground level here, you would continue on for maybe 20, 30 minutes, kind of following the advice of Jarrell. And you would eventually come upon what looks like a makeshift series of shops that are all connected in a line, wall to wall in this row of shops, all having a very simple square design, even having a short, almost sidewalk of cobblestone connecting the shops, the shop fronts to each other. For us in our world, this is essentially, it looks like a wooden strip mall with about 6 or 7 storefronts in a line. Of the many different shops and stores you see in this unique structure, the one that would catch your eye would be a Tailor's Touch, with its bold white sign and purple with gold outline font. It would stand out among the other more mundane signs that would sort of be in this loose grouping of, again, 6 or 7 storefronts in a row. Moving to the shop's one door, you would see it would have about 2 pieces of stained glass sort of set into its center, large stained glass window off to its side, not allowing you to see much of the interior, but giving it a much more distinct feeling than some of the other shops in this lineup. As you would open the door, hearing the bell chime overhead, you would step in and see rows of blouses, tunics, and cloaks. Looking over to another side and seeing a small section of the store with displays for hats, belts, and gloves. And in the center would be a few different racks as well, featuring trousers, pants, and a few other odds and ends here or there. This small, quaint shop being fairly full, but very tightly organized, very sectioned off. And as you sort of look across this space, you would see what looks like a slender, short-haired Leonin woman emerge from a back door just off to the side, where you'd guess the checkout counter is kind of on the other side of some of the stuff obfuscating that area. As the lioness would step in, she would move with confidence into the space, giving a bit of a smile, seeing the two of you, as there'd be no other patrons in the shop. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can I help you find anything, my lovelies?
Oh, good afternoon. Well, I think we're both in kind of the need for some new clothes. We're kind of from up north, so I think everything we have is just like too
if I had a
heavy
copper
in
every
layers.
time Northerners said something like that when they came into my shop. I'd have 2 shops.
If you had a gold every time, you could close shop. Oh, smart. He his face goes from like, what a dumb joke to like, oh shit, that's actually a good idea.
Well, we have a fine selection of offerings, and she sort of moves to some of the like tunics and blouses and belts. You'll find a wide selection of options, and my day is a little empty at the moment. I think I could probably fit in some resizings if you happen to find something that you like but doesn't quite fit perfectly. We want you leaving with confidence.
Makes sense. As he's like in his ratty, baggy clothes that like
She's
only
very
fit
much doing
because,
that,
his belt and the wrap.
stylist, just sort of like doing this like back and forth, looking at your guys' clothing and attire, and it's just like dealing with it, basically.
Yes, well, you come highly recommended, so we're so glad to have your full attention this afternoon. Jarrell sent us from the...
Oh, from the glow hearth.
Yeah. I think he told us to tell you the first round's on him. He's just handing those out.
He's vying for a third date. It just didn't work out. The chemistry wasn't there. He makes it weird when I come by, trying to give me drinks and talk me up, and nothing too pushy or strange, but just overly nice. I get it. Look, I don't find you attractive. We could just coexist, and I could go to the tavern I love.
Enya's like, yikes, not a can of worms I meant to open. Oh, this looks interesting over here, and let me just go touch this piece of clothing.
I hear you. Sometimes it's like taking a hit, you know what I mean? And it's a great tavern, that's for sure. So, okay. What's that over there? Do you think I'm a hat guy? He has no interest in the hat.
As we would probably get a fun little montage of Enna, Renny, and this shopkeep Ezzy helping you guys try on a few different things. Maybe her offering a few options and selections that at times are a little clashing, and other times you're like, okay, maybe I will go with like a bit of a bigger belt. Okay, all right, it's not a bad idea. You know what? Maybe orange is my color. And this was sort of going on for probably a good almost hour spent in this storefront. One or two patrons would trickle in, a lot of them dropping off items to be repaired or picking up just something quick. No one particularly looking to eat up Ezzy's time, quite like you guys will for the next little bit. Is there any particular flavorings over this, as like you're trying to find your right outfit, basically? Like, you know, maybe this is right before you sort of landed on those final choices.
I guess the only thing that like really has to stay is that I'll still be wearing these boots. So like, I don't know what color the boots are, but I guess I wouldn't want the outfit to clash if I'm bothering to do that.
That's fair. That's fair. Ezzy probably taking that as a noble challenge to try to match and coordinate around your boots. Thankfully, she has the skills and the stock to get the job done.
Nice.
Renny will probably try and keep like almost the same vibe, but like lighter, because he does like the wraps around the heel, up above the ankle. He's like, I still need like maybe like baggy pants, maybe something breathable, because I do like to move around a lot. Maybe we'll go like no sleeves, you know, for the tunic. Sure, you know, something just a little more breathable. And then like I do need a double hood. One to wear and then one for, and he'll pull out Renny. And if you have mouse clothes,
a little bit smaller than my typical clientele. I have a few people with mole rats and such, but I think I should have something that should work, and should probably go in the back and probably bring out like small vests, maybe even like cloaks or like jackets, more like warm wear. Nothing that would really be light besides maybe a vest, but it's got like, you know, a little coat, a little cloak, you know, some other little options.
That's adorable.
Yeah, this is the first shop in all of my life that actually has little clothes. Of course, this is the nicest shop I've ever been in. All right, buddy. Well, I don't want you too hot either. You got all that fur. Let's just go with like this nice vest, something to keep it open.
Oh, then it'll fit perfectly. And she's like getting the vest on him.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, buddy. We're all getting new stuff today. And it's like when you put a cat in
just
a
like
shirt.
sits still on your shoulder, basically.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Something's got me.
Our little montage would come to an end. For each of you, go ahead and take off, we'll call it 1 gold piece for your outfits. Since we're not getting any mechanical changes, we're just updating for comfort.
I think I'll get 2 outfits. So should I do 2?
Yeah, if you're gonna go with like kind of like 2 full outfits, yeah, go ahead and take off another gold piece for me.
Yeah, I want some like sleeveless
Oh,
options and a sleeved option in case I kind of want to be able to cover my arms for whatever reason. I don't know.
Smart. No, I think that's smart.
Yeah, that's actually smart. I'll do the same thing, and then I'll tip a silver for the vest. Yeah, a lot of people just don't have stuff like that. I thought maybe I'd have to order something custom. So this is just great.
Oh,
Great experience.
lovely.
I'll
Thank you so
definitely
much.
recommend
And
this.
truly, it has been an honor upping our confidence and having you walk Summerbend with your head held high. But yes, if you could mention me, that would be great. The word of mouth is big.
It seems to be like it's hard to find signs around here. It's just wild. It's cool though. It keeps a local vibe. You know, it's not like in your face. Some people find it tacky, but I don't. And your sign is wonderful. And if I could bother you, are there any
We
like
have
arbors
a few.
in town?
I take it just based off some of our talks. You aren't necessarily locals here. First timers?
Yeah, we just got in a little bit earlier today, and you know, I've been using leather armor.
Oh,
It's just a little hat, you know, a little like. I think the smell is just like it's a part of it now,
It's
and I don't
noticeable.
notice it. I don't think Lucky notices it, and he'll kind of like lean in a little bit. Yeah. Oh, okay. See, this is
sure,
it. So it's just-
sure, lovelies. I understand. Well, now here in Summerbend, it's good to note we don't generally use too much, iron metals. So blacksmithing here is a little bit different. We have a lot of carvers. Carvers usually will specialize in iron bark goods. The leaf blades, the guards you've seen about, and they're those wooden chest pieces and helmets and blades and shields. It's like that basically.
Yeah. It's like, okay. So, do you think I could get like leather armor with that in it?
Oh, I mean, I don't see why not. It should definitely be possible.
That's cool.
I would imagine if you're looking for weaponries, again, we'll use a lot of iron barks here, but it's particularly common for carvers to do some of their work with animal bones and remains. They may look a little grisly, but they are surprisingly effective from what I've heard.
Okay, cool. We'll have to check them out. And hey, I'm sorry, real quick, before we go, do you have any like shreds of like cloth or something I could just maybe pay you for? We've been using hay for Lucky in my hood.
Oh, no, that won't do. No, I have scraps. Say no more. And she like heads off to the back.
He'll look at you. It might be
Yeah, I
cleaner.
don't think the
I
cleansing
think I can
stone
wash
recognizes
those.
hay as something to clean.
Yeah.
It probably tries to push the hay off of you. You have to like stop
It's
it.
on the floor. He puts it back into the broken stone.
But as he coming back, probably giving you a couple good like swaths of just like different colored fabric. Yeah, a bunch of smaller pieces I couldn't actually find for any use for, but this is much better than discarding them or turning them into more small animal clothing. So we'll go to a good home.
Thank you again. And he'll just like literally just boop over his back, toss it in there. Then Lucky will probably
Aw,
jump in
have the
and just
time of
start
his life.
nesting it up.
Living the dream. He's living the dream.
I steal so he doesn't have to. My hands look like this, so his can look like that.
And as we would see, you two both step out of, again, that almost like wooden strip mall-esque, those like 7 stores loosely in a row. As you walk back out, leaving Taylor's touch behind, you would walk out into those dirt pathways and streets again, seeing the many buildings, homes, and citizens. Again, it's loosely about midday. You know, for us, maybe that'd be like a 1 o'clock-ish or so. Would there be any other activities you guys would be looking to get into today? Or are you guys gonna go
Well,
kick
I'd
your
ask
feet up
Renny,
at the
like, do
glow
you
hearth for a
want to
little
check
while?
out that job listing you found? Find out where those people are traveling?
I mean, we might as well. Plus, I would like to get some new armor. Maybe something with that like iron bark in it. It's like a studded armor.
I mean, leather
Studded
is
leather.
remains.
I think we have leather here. Yeah. Weird they put it
Well,
like
we'll
that,
keep
but
our
yeah.
eyes out.
So So yeah, I keep an eye out for studded leather armor, and we would just go check out the job listing to see where that snowberries are headed.
We'll say as you guys are moving through the sort of ground floor of the eastmost sister, you guys probably needing to head back up the trunk, use one of those bridges that sort of connect through because there's no connecting at the base besides ferries and waterway. But as you have plenty of time to cover, Summerbin throughout your travel over to the westmost sister, we'll say you do come upon a humble little crafter, a carver crafter who specializes in some of these like wooden armaments. You would have maybe seen like a leather worker or two, but none of them really had any studded leather armor. It's sort of hard to find those sort of like metal inlays into it. But you're maybe pointed here by a tradesman. And after a little bit of back and forth with the Owlin shopkeep, he would be able to get you a fairly nice set of mechanically what is studded leather armor. It would be 45 gold pieces for it. But it would be like this fine, almost like chest piece and almost like leg guards and almost like shoulder guards to go almost like a wrist brace. You could pick and choose what pieces you sort of keep on you. But the leather work would actually be interlaid with what looks like bark. It sort of comes through sections where maybe metal would be interlaid in your traditional studded leather armor. This seems to be some sort of like cross between the two, having mostly leather throughout its like sort of visage, but sort of in the connecting parts or maybe in some of the shoulders and extremities where that sort of studded leather would be metalscape. It would all seem to be wood.
Oh, this is cool. That's interesting. I'm sure the iron bark is just as tough. 45 gold. You know what? I'll take it.
Nah, it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Why not? I'm feeling generous. It looks nice. I think it goes with what I've already got earlier.
Makes us look
It's
local.
already the perfect size. It's perfect fit.
It fits nice. Yeah, fit in more. This is cool. I feel like I'm really from Southlands. Okay, and he'll just hand over the 45.
Love it. The Outland shopkeep happily taking the gold pieces, handing you over those sort of different pieces of these studded leather armaments.
And then maybe like walking around, we came across street food. maybe
Yeah, we're
grab
probably
something.
a little hungry by now. Peckish.
On our way to the snowberries.
Roll me another D20 in
Come on, hi,
and call
baby.
it high or
Need
low
something
for
good.
me again.
15.
Hey, 15.
So as you're sort of moving about the space, maybe you guys would make it over to the westmost sister, the sort of tree that's essentially just right next to this one. While all the trees would be, kind of in this tight cluster, this one would be, theoretically kind of the closest. And heading over to the western sister, down to the base where flyer, this posting that you found, said you would find these strange wagons or carriages. You would maybe cross by what looks like some more docks and harbors here on the other sister's island. As you're sort of passing through some of the other buildings and again the more waterway style section, Enya's eyes would immediately be drawn to this little like food cart. Watching as it would have a grill right behind it, the food cart would be pretty busy at work. Seeing a couple of people forming a very short line at the cart's front already. Both the Owlin cook and the Owlin clerk at this sort of cart would again look very busy, taking gold, moving around food to various patrons as they come up. A pretty quick process, it would look like. You would see that the Owlin in the back would be light gray and white, cooking pretty hurriedly, grilling what looks like a pile of meat in this greasy mound on this sort of flat iron grill, pretty quick at work. And the Owlin clerk, being a bit more like a bold amber coloration, would be standing out a little bit with sort of the light tones and greens of the city itself. But moving over to the cart, probably again Enya in the lead. You see the clerk handing over these steamed buns that seem to be stuffed with a bit of a glazed meat, topped with what looks like a solid line of just an unknown pink sauce. Just there's like a strip right across the top. Looking at the stand, it would feature no sign, no posting, pretty standard. You would see that the only advertising here would be, again, the maybe two people in line and this delicious sweet cooked meat smell that just would be wafting off of this place, probably pulling Enna in. And as you sort of walk up, you could see that, again, a pretty hurried checkout process. The last patron would come up in line, quickly place their order, and receive 2 of these very soft steam buns filled with that same cooked meat. The patron sort of stepping away from the cart with their food as the Amber Owlin clerk would maybe look over in your direction, Enna and Renny, as you approach, maybe like 10 or 15 feet off to the side of the cart. The Owlin would probably chirp up, "Oh, hungry?
Yeah,
Dad's almost finished making a fresh batch right now."
Yeah. I'll also take
Thank
2.
you very much.
I'll be 1 copper piece each.
What are these called?
Perfect.
Oh, these are just called yummy rolls. We can't tell you what the sauce is. It's a special sauce my dad makes, but it's real yummy.
Sounds great.
And for us, just a moment later after the Owlin would take your copper pieces, you would both receive 2 essentially bao buns filled with this glazed smoked pork, topped with a very creamy pink sauce, just like a strip, like I said, right over the top of it. Both of them being handed over in these sort of like parchment holders and like a single handing, just 2 buns being handed
Probably
over
like
in
inhales
each
the
hand to
first
each of
one.
you.
This sounds so good.
Oh, man. Renny's unsure how he'd which you first. You just buy it, you pull it. Oh,
This is so good.
Just, it's pretty good. I've never had anything like this before. Here you go, Lucky. And he'd rip off a piece with some of the meat, just toss it in his head.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys like it.
Oh,
You guys have a good day. Overday smiles.
Oh, yeah. Oval and happy to see you, too.
Yeah, we should take the same way
We'll
back.
have to come back though to this place. We should just take some for the way back. Do you think they let us bring this into the tower?
I mean, yeah, I don't see
They've
why
got a
we
keep, right?
couldn't.
In worst
I mean,
case,
I
can you
could.
punch 'em
I
with your
don't
fire
think that's
hands?
a great idea.
What if you punched with your fire hands and then grabbed them to heat it back up?
I mean, I could maybe freeze them and then heat them later. If we wanted to take, we'll figure it out. Okay, let's licking sauce off my fingers. Like, okay. Of course he
Renny
do.
wipes his hands on his fucking thing clothes. Like he always would. See some sauce on his pants.
And as we'd watch the 2 of you make your way around the sort of base of the westmost tree, sort of on, again, that sort of ground level as you had to descend all the way down here, you would begin to come around to what looks like that western base that was mentioned in the posting. Looking around, you can see there's a few different carriages, a few different vehicles, all sort of parked over here. Wagons, carts, a couple of hand carts. You can see there would be a stable far off to the side that looks pretty full with various creatures. It wouldn't take you too terribly long as you're sort of looking at all these different land vehicles here, as kind of towards the middle of this loose crowd of land vehicles, you can see both a fairly large wagon and a typical sized wagon, or a fairly large carriage, with a fairly typical sized wagon, both of them having a green and gold coloration to them. The sort of main carriage and wagon almost center would be a bold green, the wheels being painted a very fine gold. A lot of the trimming and fixtures like handles and sort of sides would all be that same trimmed gold color. As you 2 begin to approach, you can already see that there seems to be a small circling around these 2 vehicles, this large carriage and this wagon, again, both painted green and gold. There seems to be about maybe 15, 16 people kind of loosely centered around a fire that would be in between the 2 vehicles. As you begin to approach, you can see all these 15 people. They would all look completely different. There would be an Owlin holding what looks like a fairly large-looking lute in his hands. Off to the side, you would see a minotaur with a bit of like a cow coloration to them. Classic, almost piercing through the nose, caps on their horns, sort of sitting off to the fire, like arms crossed. Just a smattering of different people. As you approach, this half-elf would come over, sort of like a dirty blonde hair, a bit of like a messy mop to it, a little bit of a goatee, almost like classic traveling attire, though very well dressed in that sense. A very fine vest, clean, almost pressed tunic and trousers. And as they sort of step away from this grouping by the fire in between this carriage and wagon, almost seeing you walk over purposefully. Oh, here for the applications. Here to try out for snowberries.
Possibly. I guess we're just kind of curious what the production was, and I know it's at a tour. Yeah, like where are you guys touring?
Oh, hey, that's fair. Name's Pip, by the way. I'm a bit of an organizer, a bit of a helper here. I sort of help producer, I guess. Well, we're just looking for a couple different spots to get filled, kind of like the flyer, probably saying that you have the flyer. But like it mentions, we need some stage hands, a little behind the show work. Always need security, some supporting acts, or maybe like warm up acts, just supporting musicians. Got a few different spots currently. Snowberries, we're hoping to really start off this tour with a bang. We're hoping to hit the Presh River, maybe make our way up north at some point. But, we got to go down south. We got to hit the festival circuit that's coming up in the next couple of months. So, we got a pretty tight pack schedule. But I mean, if you're hoping to audition or, apply, just hang out here. We'll of course keep you noted. We currently have some people over in the carriage as they sort of come over to that very large carriage. We got some people in there currently auditioning. I think they're knife jugglers or sword fighters. I didn't really get it. They didn't speak common very well, but it seemed really cool.
That's cool. Okay, so you're just like touring all over the South.
I mean, yeah, well, you got to hit the South. Like I mentioned, the festivals are starting to come up with some of the celebrations, but heading north, that's sort of our ultimate goals if you want to stay on after the season. But again, this is a lot of talk. We have a lot of applicants, but again, don't let this dissuade you. We're going to see everyone that shows up today and tomorrow, regardless. And, we want to see the best Summer Bend has to offer.
Okay, cool. So how long would we be signing up for? How long is the job for?
Well, I mean, with some of the celebrations coming up, we're looking at easily about a 4-month ask, at least as like contract. After that, it's kind of like month to month, honestly.
Okay, awesome. And how long are you guys going to be here for? Taking auditions just today, or?
Oh, only the next 3 days. We've been able to fill a couple of positions. The particular flyer you're holding, we posted it about 4 days ago. So we've seen a lot of different people come through, honestly.
Okay, cool. It's 3 more days. So we can easily audition on the 3rd day. I mean, I'm sure it's for like whatever's still available.
I mean, I don't see why not. As long as we still got, energy in our bones on that 3rd day, we'll see anyone that comes through.
Awesome. Interesting. Okay, cool. I think we'll think about it. It's a bit of a commitment, but we're definitely interested. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, hey, not a problem. Not a problem. I mean, I'd love to get your name, maybe like what your act is, just so that way I can maybe pitch it to the crew, see what they think. That way, maybe get them jazzed up for when you guys come back.
Oh yeah. I mean, my name's Renny. I could do like stagehand security work. Or I'm a dagger thrower.
Okay. You could tell he was very bored until you said dagger thrower.
Yeah. I use a very unique psychic blade. It's a really kind of cool part of the performance. I would do it, but I just, I don't have everything together right now. But yeah, I just, I throw the daggers, and then the nice thing is when they're done, they kind of vanish. So it's just like a dagger magic trick. And you here knows some great martial skills, who can really kind of like show off some moves and like throws these punches of like different types. So, like you can have like a flaming fist and like punch, and then like it's pretty cool. So, like however we can incorporate that stuff into the show, or like I said, would be great for like security.
My punches and his blades are not just for show, but they could be.
Yeah, we could also use it for the security purposes, but
Okay. All right. Hey, I like this. I love this energy that you guys are bringing. I love it. If you're going to want to bring punches and swords, just make sure you have a good, under 2 minute sort of routine lined up.
Okay. Okay.
Just for display. But hey, if you want to be, stagehand security, that's cool. Just
Awesome.
show up and
Are you
give
guys
it your
thinking
best.
by Arlemere at any point in this festival circuit?
Oh, I mean, you have to hit Arlemere. I mean, the Forged Lily is beautiful at all times of the year, but especially this time of the year, right before winter. Oh, it's breathtaking.
Oh, interesting. Is that like the last kind of show on the stop, or is that like the next place you're headed?
Oh no, we got several stops till we hit to Arlemere. There's a lot of villages in between here and there, my friend.
Okay, so a little new to the Southland area, so maybe this would be a great way to kind of see everything. And we could end up in Arlemere. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for your time. Like the heads up to have like a 2-minute routine. We weren't really sure what you were looking for with the paper.
I mean, to be fair, we did list what we needed on the paper, but I totally get it. Common's
told
not
you we
everyone's
should look
strong
at
suit,
common.
my little friend.
He clenched. As soon as
Great.
he said little, that paper just got crumpled.
Maybe see you in a couple days. Good luck with your searching.
Oh, anytime. Oh, good, perfect timing. Oh, hey guys, if we could not drink ale by the fire, please. You'd see them walking back and like talking to the large minotaur that's like pulled out this small cask of ale and is just chugging it by the fire. What would you guys like to do as you step a couple of feet away from that very large carriage and the other sort of matching coloration wagon? Again, still sort of in the midst of some of the other vehicles here over on the sort of Westmost Sisters ground.
I speak a lot of these can't. Okay, my comments not that bad.
I don't think that'll get us the job.
Him for our show. Call me little. I'm more of a sized person. But I mean, that might be an interesting job. I mean, after we cleanse as well,
I'm not opposed,
gets us to Arlemere,
so maybe we can explore our options, find out how much the direct path is.
Yeah, we should also check out on the.
Yeah, I remember mentioning
Griffin or bird thing. Yeah, maybe that'll be our last stop, and then we could end up at the tavern.
Oh, he said their food isn't great.
We
could get more yum yum buns.
That's true.
I'm never
they're
full.
So good. I'm so full. Oh, well, that sounds burdensome. Well, let's just grab some more. If I
That's
can't
all
finish
you had
one,
to
you
say
can have it.
for dragging me forward.
Oh wait, okay. And then maybe after we get those buns, we could check out the Griffin bird place, and then get some rest for our big cleansing day tomorrow. And he does some like half-assed.
You shouldn't hold your thumb like that. It's just if you do punch something, you're gonna hurt yourself. No, I mean if you want to break your finger,
the fingers don't wrap around the thumb. No, and he instantly puts them back on.
As we would get to watch Renny and Enna sort of go from the westernmost sister base up its spiral staircase over the bridges connecting to the eastmost sister, sort of back in the upper branches of the eastmost sister, stopping by the Wind Corral. It again would be fairly easy to find here in the upper branches as you guys would return back here. Sort of looking around the space as you begin to approach it, you can see what looks like a large open air stable. Even from this distance, you can make out several different stalls that must be inside this place. It looks pretty big as you begin to sort of approach. You could see would have that same almost like log cabin-esque design to this fairly large, again, almost like barn style, large open air stable. As you approach, easily 15 to 16 stalls on either side of the interior here. Its double large barn doors would be wide open, revealing the fairly spacious interior here. As you two would begin to approach, you'd see a few individuals moving around the inside here. You see these stable hands going about their day, a few workers milling about. One of these stable hands would sort of look over. Having a bit more of like an official garb and look to their attire would definitely give you a notice and a bit of a half-hearted wave as they do one of those light jogs over to you, seeing this tabaxi approach with this almost classic tiger coloration pattern to their fur. Their features being a little gruffed, having a bit of a stout build to their frame. Fair day, friends, fair day. How can I help you?
Fair day to you. We were just inquiring about passage to Arlamir.
Oh, Arlamir.
Like a quote.
Just kind of gauging.
Sure.
Is that something you do, or
Yeah. You would see him reach into like an inner breast pocket and pull out what looks like a small handbook. Flips through some of the pages. Arlamir. Yeah, I got just a bird that's actually going to be heading that way. In about a day and a half. So what? Not today, not tomorrow, but the day after that. We should have the Griff here. Should have him prepped. You guys looking to book? We can get this scheduled out right now.
Well, just a few questions. Do we both is it one bird? Like we both can ride on it, or are they big enough to carry?
Oh, that's fair. I didn't know. Okay. And he sort of like
both of us.
He sort of like sizes both of you up for a minute. I mean, you guys would probably weigh about as much as like your average fella. I think I could get you guys both on the back of one Griff for
How
sure.
How much would that
sure.
cost us?
Oh, if you're going to Arlamir, well, I probably should also note that we unfortunately can't get straight to Arlamir. The closest we can get you is Linvo's Rest. It's about like 2 days south of Arlamir. You know, pretty close.
Okay. And like, how long would that journey take on one of the Griffins? Like, is there like a couple little pit stops on the way? Or?
Funny enough, I mean, you would think there'd be a couple, but our Griffs are so fast. You'd only have one pit stop, I think. But yeah, it's like one stop. It's only for the night, and then you'd have about a full day journey loosely, and then you'll be dropped off in Linvo's Rest. And
if a day and a half didn't work for us, would it be like another 2 days after that for it to come back?
Not exactly sure. It depends on people that book. Honestly, I mean, the bird I have for this, Linvo's Rest run. I mean, I may have to send them up north to Malachar if it's not booked. It's really just supply demand.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, well, it makes sense. So how much would it cost to fly there?
You know what? You two's riding on one Griff.
And that's
I could get you there for 12 gold pieces. Yeah, unless you want to take 2 separate birds, then I got 2 separate prices.
Okay.
I just don't think that we can commit to that right now.
Yeah, we just have a lot going on. Do you know how long it takes by boat to get closer?
No, sorry, friend. Don't know too much about deep south.
That's fair. Why would you know a competitor's prices when you probably have the best transport around?
With that, and born and raised in the Gold Reach, so I usually don't venture too far over to the cliffs.
Good man. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll think about it. And we'll come back, and if it's still an option, it was meant to be. And if it's already booked, it's booked. Just like a food for thought thing, if we paid a little extra, could we leave on the 3rd day? Like a holding fee for you?
I mean, if you book it, I don't see why not. We can make anything happen if you put down some gold on it.
Okay. Well, perfect. Well, we'll think about it. And like I said, if it works out, then it'll still be available, right? I look at Enna.
Hey, that's a good way to look at it, you twos. I think it's smart.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, and we don't want to keep you.
Hey, anytime. And hey,
Odin smile.
may Overdin smile on you.
Close.
Oh, teen smile. Is that it? I don't know. Why can't they just say happy intuition or something? Yeah.
I mean, you could say that if you want.
Well, it just dawned on him he could do it.
And as we'd watch the two of you leave the Wind Corral, this large, open, barn-like stable, crossing the sort of pathways of the upper branches, we would see them sort of come to the large glow hearth, this one of the largest buildings here in this particular portion of the upper branches. You would see that the sun wouldn't be setting, but it would be getting low. You guys may be realizing how much time you've actually spent just having to walk around this place. Just going from one tree to another is quite the small task in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And as we see Renny and Enna return back to the glow hearth, probably seeing Ja Rail give them like a hearty wave, salutations, our camera would pan back, leaving Summer Bend. And I think that's where we'll end our session for today. Good game,
Ooh.
good game.
So,
We got so much done.
I know.
we
You
did.
guys killed it.
We got new duds. Finally convinced you to try out the cleansing stuff.
So, yeah, he definitely got it back when you